Scotty, are you able to hit a golf shot where you don't move your feet? Is that even possible for you?
I can. You want me to do it?
Yes. Was there ever a time where you swung like what you're about to do? Never.
I don't know. I don't think so.
When's the last time you attempted to do this with a driver?
With a driver, I couldn't tell you.
It's gonna be weird to see.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
So this is keeping them steady.
Wow. Athletic, bold, commanding. We're talking about the Chevy Equinox EV, and we're talking about one of the most hard-hitting shows we're ever going to have in the history of the Fore Play podcast. We got Scottie Scheffler on this show. He was awesome. We sat down with him in person. We were down just before Thanksgiving with the new Taylormade Qi4D, the whole thing. Amazing. Number one player. You're going to love that. A lot of golf. Kind of little news we thought was a big deal. Anthony Kim, Vijay Singh, fun stuff. Bang. Brooks Koepka news breaks while we're doing this very show. It's all brought to you by Chevy and the Equinox EV. And the news didn't just break, but we did an entire thing about it right before it broke.
It's a huge show, absolutely huge show. You're going to get all of our takes from us wondering what the Brooks stuff is going to be. What's the fallout going to be? What kind of rules would they have to enact for Brooks Koepka to possibly be back on the PGA Tour? It sounded to us, it was like this fantasy land. And then bang, I'm downstairs feeding Frankie apples and cranberries. And all of a sudden I get a text message. We got to hop back on the pod. Brooks is playing at Torrey Pines next week. And Brooks is playing at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. We're like, what's going on? Frankie's crying. It's nuts. So we got everything. Scottie Scheffler hits a golf shot that he hasn't hit. The only time he's ever done it was in front of Nick Faldo at the Masters. He hits a golf shot on this podcast. Please make sure, if you're listening to this, go watch it on YouTube. It's going to be a huge YouTube video for us. This is awesome. This is an awesome show. Chevrolet, always right there with us. The bow tie, American. This is just an American PGA Tour. The news is back. Let's go, baby. Unbelievable.
If it's distance you are after, the Chevy Equinox EV has got you covered with 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front-wheel drive. You can also leave the driving of the Equinox EV, which what I love to do. You can show up to the course energized because they've got available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology. And then, of course, that massive 17-inch diagonal center screen. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We are into our second week of the new year in terms of podcasting, and we're kicking it off strong, ladies and gentlemen. We have the number one player on planet Earth in the game of golf, which we cover on this golf show. Scottie Scheffler is joining the show. We were in person with him with the new Taylormade Qi4D driver. He actually hit the driver a couple times right in front of us during this interview, but we have an incredible history with Scottie Scheffler, as has been well documented on this show, from Frankie being proud of him, and then Scottie changing numbers and not really responding to Frankie, but actually wasn't responding to Frankie. He was probably texting somebody in Texas that got Scottie's number. We really engaged with him the first time you guys were down at Kiowa. Scottie didn't think you guys knew who he was. And then a couple months later, we interviewed him. We just threw in a show with Wyndham Clark down at the Northern Trust. And now all of a sudden, here we are. Scottie Scheffler's like the greatest player of all time. And so we have a hell of a rapport with this man. Every time I get together with him, I'm so impressed with Scottie Scheffler. And when we do a golf show and you have the definitive best player of the last 3 or 4 years on the show, always a huge moment, gentlemen.
Love having Scottie Scheffler on these airwaves. It feels like it's few and far between at this point, but that's what you get with the number one golfer in the universe. So having him on the show was huge. Taylormade, obviously, we always have that week where we go down and get a bunch of content, and you've seen the Tiger Woods stuff that we've done, and the Rory McIlroy stuff, and the Tommy Fleetwood stuff, and that stuff is all incredible. It's all video. We come up with some sort of quirky situation to put the best golfers in the world in, whether it be a one club challenge, which we've done with Scottie 3 or 4 times at this point. We've had all these different ideas with him that we've successfully accomplished. And then this year we were sitting there thinking like, all right, if we're going to get 30 minutes of Scottie Scheffler, do we really want to just have him play one hole with us and like just beat us? And he's the best golfer in the world. Like, how much actual context are you getting out of having the best golfer that's on the planet and is so far runaway best that we've ever seen since Tiger Woods at this point? The statistics hold up. Like, what are we actually gaining from him just beating us in one more hole again? Like, it's not a full match. It's not this, it's not that. So we had the idea to just take a bunch of chairs, put them on a tee box, get our microphones set up and just have Scottie Scheffler talk to us as being the number one golfer in the world with a new driver that he's putting in the bag, which was a point of contention last year. The last one he didn't put in the bag, the QI35, and there was a lot of conversation around that. He was using the QI10, and like that was hot, and then he wins the PGA Championship. There's so much that we get into in this interview. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it, but I just thought that this was a great use of our time with the best golfer because you really get to hear where he's at in his game. You get to know him a little bit more, which is what we're trying to do with this show and this platform, is to get to see the real side of people and really get to hear what he has to say, as opposed to it just being like a post round interview or something. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think that it was a great use of our time, and I'm excited for everyone to listen to it. I'm very proud of him. He's just such a great guy. And he's just one of those guys, like, even when the mic is off, he's still talking with us, and he kind of bullshits back and forth with us, just like he's one of our buddies. And it's just great, like, that guy is who he is still mind-boggling to me, you know? Because, like, those guys are supposed to be, like, otherworldly type of athletes, and he's just Scotty that you see at your local dive bar. He likes his pizza thin crust. He likes to play backgammon, or not backgammon. What's the game that he likes to play with Meredith? Gin
Cribbage?
rummy. What is it?
Is it cribbage?
Cribbage, maybe. I don't. Yeah, it's one of those little games that he plays at a coffee table by the plants that they keep by the window in their house. Like, you know, he still drives his old Chevy. Like, there's that guy should not be that guy, and it's awesome to see.
It is. Scotty's just the best. Everything you hear about him, it's even better than that. He really just exists to be a man who's a normal guy who cares about his family and his wife and his kid and his friends, and then who just wants to win every golf tournament that's ever existed. It's not even that he wants to win. He just wants to hit every shot as good as he possibly can, and he wants to prepare for hitting every shot and tournament the best that he possibly can. He talks about that extensively. He talks about preparation. He talks, you know, as a man of the Lord. He talks about a lot of times how when he shows up to tournaments, it's pretty much in the Lord's hands, which has been determined by how much preparation he's done. And a lot of that preparation involves equipment, and it involves the Qi4D, which, as Frankie mentioned at the Hero World Challenge at the end of last year, Scotty put the new driver in play around that exact same time of year. Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy out in Dubai, I believe it was, put the Qi4D in play. I think this week out in Dubai is the Dubai Invitational, where Tommy and Rory are headlining that field as well. I'll be surprised if you don't see the new Taylormade Qi4D. We're going to get into this thing quite a bit. I've got it right behind me right here. Just an unbelievably sexy club. And it's, you know, find your new fast. That's sort of what they're talking about. That's what I talked about with my New Year's resolutions last week. I said when it comes to golf, I just want to find more distance. Boys, I put this thing in play for a couple rounds last week, and I'm already hitting the golf ball farther when I make a nice, decent swing on the thing. So we're going to get into all that. We get into quite a bit of it with Scotty on the driver. And like I said, he hits a couple right in front of us. So I'm sure people see that clip. There's one incredible clip that's involved in this that I kind of forgot about until just now. But we'll talk more about the driver. We got a bunch of stuff in the world of golf. There's all kinds of Brooks Koepka speculation, conversation. This is the first week of the PGA Tour season. Sony Open kicks off this week due to the fact that Maui and Century was canceled last week due to course conditions. We got all the Ben Mintz stuff that we'd like to recap a little bit. We're going to be at the PGA show. Anthony Kim qualified by finishing third in Live Golf Promotion, so he's kind of earned his spot. We're going to go through that. There's new rules. There's 6 new rules that the PGA Tour has revealed and changed for this year, or PGA Tour and or USGA have tweaked the rules of golf going into this year. And then, I want to get into Ryan Richard's Packers were defeated in devastating fashion. We got all kinds of football to talk about. So a lot to talk about. But we didn't want to bury Scottie Scheffler because he's Scottie Scheffler. So without further ado, let's throw it to the number one player on planet Earth, Mr. Scottie Scheffler. All right, folks. We're joined here on the program by world number one, 19-time PGA Tour winner, 4-time major winner, Olympic gold medalist, all of that since 2022, which is not that long ago, Scottie Scheffler. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So we're out here, at Taylormade. We're kind of working with the new Qi4D driver. What's your process like through this whole thing of when somebody sort of like hands you a new club? Is it months ago? Is it fresh for you today? What's it take for you to sort of consider using it? What's the whole process like?
I mean, it's long. It's a long process. I think the one for this year's driver started actually in spring of this year. They did some stuff with the way the face is, either curvature on the face or somehow the design of the face, that they built into a Qi35 for me to try kind of mid-year, like May, June time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Eastlake, we did a lot of like how the driver looks. So they had a lot of different heads with different face angles and colors and different designs on the face that hopefully would suit my eye. And then they came to Dallas about a month later, hit a bunch of drivers, and it was, oddly enough, Adrian does so much work behind the scenes that the first driver he made me was the driver that I'm using now.
Really?
Yeah, so the fitting was like, it could have been
But that
5
doesn't
minutes.
drive him crazy at all.
Well, it was like we had done so much work trying to get the Qi35 driver to work for me, and we weren't able to get it done. And so I felt like we both learned a lot in the process about like kind of what my eyes need to see and how the driver needs to feel. And so Adrian was as prepared as anybody could be for anything seemingly for this driver fitting, and sure enough, he nailed it.
So I was actually at Mike Essie's wedding with Adrian during this time, while like maybe a month or a week after all of this went down. So I heard the version sort of that story. So it's great to hear it from you, because we had him on the podcast, 2 months ago maybe?
Yeah.
And Adrian was going through it too. And he was laughing at, he's like, you bring all these different options, you work really hard at it, you get all this feedback from Scottie. And he said it was pretty similar with the putter too, where he's like, actually what we kind of like either handed him originally and worked out was perfect, or he's like, with the putter, we went through all these different things with the Spider, and at the end he kind of just grabbed one off the rack and was like, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, the Spider one was more like we had done so many different things to try and get the Spider putter to feel like a blade, because I always liked the look of it. And then we started doing all these different things. And then finally I was like, you know what? If I'm going to try the Spider putter, I might as well just try the one with all the correct technology. I think when you change the weight, and we did so many different things. And I mean, the whole team at Taylormade is tremendous at all this kinds of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
they went above and beyond for me and did basically everything that we could possibly come up with to do with a putter. And eventually I was like, you know what? Let's just get all the technology, all the MOI, all that stuff, and just try it. And I tried it 1 week, and I putted really good, and it's kind of just stuck.
Adrian was making us laugh because he said he never saw you. He doesn't think you ever hit a bad shot with that Qi35 that's just in the locker in Dallas. He's like it's just every time he saw you swing it, it was unbelievable. What makes you put a club in the bag? Like, what is that moment? Because to our eyes, like, everything works, right?
I mean, I think it's a long process, because so for instance, the driver that Adrian built me, the first one I used in that Dallas fitting, I've been playing it and using it on the course, and it hasn't done the exact things I need to do on the course. And so we were doing some adjustments to the club yesterday and just moving like a little bit of weight around and stuff like that. But I feel like we're always fine tuning, because you can hit shots in the range, you can imagine the shots you hit on the course, but then when you actually get onto the course, you get in the heat of the moment. Like if I'm playing and gambling at home, like I don't want to be hitting the ball out of play, obviously, so I'm going to be hitting my normal shots, and you get into it. And I just feel like when you're on the course, there's so many different things that you're always trying to do to the ball that I kind of it needs to match up with how it feels and looks and like sees, and it has to do what I need it to do, which is essentially a lot of different things. And so I can definitely be kind of a pain in the butt for Adrian. I was joking with him yesterday when we started working with the driver. I was like, this next 20 minutes is probably going to define how you sleep tonight. Like, I know if this doesn't go well, it's probably going to keep you up at night. So I'm hoping this is going to go really well.
When you look down, you had mentioned that before. What do you want to see? What do you like to see when you look down?
So I like to see the club look slightly left, but I like to see the face.
Okay.
I like the driver to look
That's kind of hard to get both.
Exactly, and I also play a low lofted driver, so there's already not a lot of face for me to see.
What loft do you play?
I think it's 8. It might even be bent down a little bit.
Jesus.
Okay. But so I like to see the face, because I feel like when I cut it, if it looks left, I'm going to cut it, and the driver will almost kind of hold it in play.
Yep.
Whereas if the driver looks right and I cut it, I'm like, the ball's just going to keep cutting. And then it's nice for me when I want to try and draw it, that it looks like draw.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I mean, we're on a tee here. We're on this 9th hole, I believe it is. When you look out there, for you who primarily, I know you love to cut it off the tee, does this just look primo to you?
Yeah, I actually just played this hole earlier, and it does. Like, a lot of it too is using the contours of the fairway as well. So if this fairway sloped hard right to left, I'd probably see a slightly different shot. than with the fairway sloping left to right, because I feel like I can hit it at a certain height to kind of use the contours to keep the ball in an area where I want the ball.
Do you ever have days, like, again, I know you love to cut it, but like you just mentioned, you will draw it. Do you have days where you're just not feeling the draw and you'll cut it all day off the tee?
No, the way I play golf is whatever my eyes see, that's what I'm going to try to hit.
Okay.
And so some days it matches up really well. Other days it's harder to see. But the days when I'm playing my best, whatever I see, I can typically feel in my hands, and then I can try and do it. But all of how I play is by sight. So
I would kind of love to see you hit this tee shot right here.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, you've got the new. So what do you have? What are you working with here?
I got the Qi4D. It's core head, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
The core head, not the LS.
Yeah, I think it's the core head.
Yep. Do you know the weights on it? Have you
no.
played with that enough yet?
No.
I
don't. So what's funny about me being so difficult to fit for Adrian is I don't know any of the stuff that's in there.
It's awesome.
Like if you asked me what the specs of my shaft are, I would have no idea. All I can do is feel it and tell Adrian what I feel, and then he does all the work.
Interesting. It's all feel.
It's all my feel. I couldn't tell you the numbers or specs or anything. I don't know how long my driver is. I don't know any of that stuff.
Do you know the numbers on like the launch monitor? Like, do you know your spin rate? I have an idea of my spin rate and my speed and all that. Yeah, because when I practice, I'm always hitting numbers, and my TrackMan has 4 numbers. It has the carry distance, the spin rate, the club speed, and the ball speed. Those are the only 4 numbers I see. That's all you care about?
And I look at carry number, and if the carry number is not what I think it is, then I'll check spin, and then I'll check the speed from there.
Wow. Okay, so
make sure the number's accurate.
Yeah.
So this is probably something that Adrian put in your bag that he thinks is like going to be right, but there's a lot of work to do.
Adrian loves this. This one's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's pretty close.
All right, so talk us through real quick kind of what you're going to see here. And then we've got roaming Jared who's going to film it, and hopefully you hit an amazing drive.
I mean, I see the bunker on the right, which it looks like I should be able to cover it. So if, like for instance, if we're on that back tee box back there and I don't think I can cover the bunker, I'd probably hit it even lower so that I can use that slope short left of the bunker. But since I can probably cover the bunker, I'll hit a normal height fade, and I'll probably aim it in between those palm trees.
And you would use that slope because it almost gives you even more room for forgiveness because you can get
it on
the
because
ground
I can get the ball on the ground, like I can know I get in play, and like when I'm on the tee, I'm not trying to hit it as far as I can every time. I'm trying to get the ball out in the fairway so that I can hit my next shot.
A little lesson for everybody back home, right?
Yeah,
there.
that really is. Okay.
Key phrase used. All right, well, let's see if Scottie Scheffler can do this.
I think he's going to be able to.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
I don't
if I'm
know
a betting man, I'm saying
pretty
he's hitting the
confident.
fairway.
Pressure's on.
I think he's going to hit one down the fairway. I think
I
he's
got
got
a
a
tee,
tee, right? That has been a big point for us the whole week, is making sure we have a tee.
All right, where am I going? Up here?
You can go
Yeah,
up
wherever
there,
you're
anyway.
most comfortable.
Wherever I'm most comfortable.
We're doing it live.
This is the first time, like a revolutionary idea of just podcasting and also bringing video in. Scottie Scheffler's on the tee. He's about to hit a drive.
Number 1 golfer in the world.
Yeah.
You can't have him here.
You're getting loose again.
Not
get a
hit one in
loose.
the middle.
Yeah. No, you're good.
There we go.
God, I love watching this in person.
What are you thinking right now?
So see those light-colored palm trees?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm just kind of looking at those. It looks like I'm going to try and finish close to that left one. But all I'm seeing is my cut, and I'm trying to finish it just right of those, just right of the light-colored palms on the left.
Okay.
Okay. I see that.
Watch this be exactly what he just said.
I hope it is so badly. He's the best golfer on the planet. Setting records left and right.
It's right on it.
Yeah, man.
Exactly what he said he was
Yeah,
going
man,
to
he
do.
did it.
On the palm tree.
Finish a little left, but
Maybe
the
a couple
little
yards.
left of the palm
a little
tree.
left of them, but that's
Scottie, are you able to hit a golf shot where you don't move your feet? Is that even possible for you?
I can.
Have you ever experimented with that?
We're going to injure Scottie Scheffler right now?
No, it just doesn't feel very natural.
Could you do one?
You want me to do one?
Yes.
So
It feels like,
Was there ever a time where you swung like what you're about to do? Never.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Wow.
Randy, my coach, has tried to, every now and then when I was a kid, he would maybe try to get me to calm it down, but
probably
most
less
part,
of
he's
that
kinda
now. Probably less trying to. He's probably trying not.
he's
to
kind of trying to let me be.
Yeah.
Rev you up a little bit.
No, it just feels like very robotic to me. It doesn't feel very natural.
Right.
So like,
Because you're a shape. You're
yeah, every time I'm hitting the ball, I'm
Shapeshifter.
trying to shapeshift.
You're a shapeshifter.
I'm trying to do something to the golf ball. So I'm trying to make the golf ball do something. I'm not worried about anything else other than what I'm trying to get that golf ball
Right.
to do.
Yeah.
So when I'm practicing, that's a lot different. But when I get out on the course and start playing, all I'm trying to do is control that golf ball. And the way I do that is sometimes some crazy footwork.
Okay.
guy.
But
So you're-
I'll try the normal one for you guys.
When's the last time you attempted to do this with a driver?
With a driver, I couldn't tell you. Last time I tried to do this was I was on the range at the Masters with Faldo. This is like 3 years ago, and he wasn't a huge fan of my footwork. And so I kind of pulled him over, and I like just started asking him questions. Just kind of had success there. I asked him how he played the course, and then we kind of started chatting, and he asked me about my footwork, and he's like, well, can you do it normal? And I was like, yeah. And so I did it, and he asked me how it felt. I'm like, it just feels robotic. And he's like, okay, I guess it makes sense.
He was trying to get you out of it. He was like, I'm not sure about
No.
all this.
Once I told him how I felt, he's like, okay, no, that makes total sense. I'm like, okay, great. Felt like I won him over in a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you've won a lot of people over.
It's gonna be
Scott.
weird to see.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
So this is keeping him steady.
Wow.
How'd that
Way
feel?
lower.
Looked like your legs were stuck in concrete.
That's what it felt like. It felt like I couldn't turn through.
That was a bullet cut.
That's so interesting.
I hit a little bit off the heel. But.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels so foreign to you.
Yeah, it feels like I'm planted, whereas when I'm moving my feet, like I almost slide into the ball.
Yep.
You want me to take that back?
Yeah.
I think I almost like slide into the ball a
Yeah.
little bit, and so that's what I do naturally, and I
The slide
Right.
works.
Right.
I'm here to tell you.
That was
don't have
awesome.
much of an explanation.
I'm here
for
to
it.
break some news. The slide works.
Yeah, the slide is
Yeah, so-
absolutely working.
Some of my old roommates used to tell me that like I save shots with my feet, not with my hands. So if I like my swing feels off, like my feet will almost start getting more and more active.
Interesting.
You gotta ask them, but I don't know.
What is it? Yeah. It is an interesting part of golf that I feel like a lot of times when I play with good players and they slip or something, they still manage to save it and hit the ball pretty damn good. And I feel like that is just athleticism and creativity taking over instantly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's not any time in the golf swing really to think too much.
Right. You're just reacting and hitting it.
A lot of it is reactionary. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. So I do want to ask you more about the putter. I mean, Rory had famously kind of made the comment about like, maybe if he switches to a mallet, I don't know if he regrets that or not. But ever since, that switch, I think it was that first round that you actually put it in play. We were kind of giving Adrian grief about it. It wasn't a great round putting wise. And then ever since then, you've been on a laughable, tear. How, looking back on that process, what was that moment that made you go, okay, I'm going to put it in play finally?
Well, I had started working with Phil, which would have been the end of 2023.
Okay.
And Phil kind of he was like a breath of fresh air. He brought a lot of new stuff to the table, kind of helped me start moving in a direction where we were at least going to move this way and see if it works. Whereas before it was like I would do one thing 1 week and it would work, and then the next week it would stop working and I would stop doing it. If that makes sense. Like I would just kind of bounce around too much. And that really is not how I've ever gotten better at anything. Like that's not really a good method. And so Phil did a really good job of giving Randy and me some direction and like, this is what we're going to work on. This is how we're going to get better. And I'd gotten off to an okay start with the putter that year. I'd had a good start in the Bahamas to kind of start the year. And then outside of that, I had a few off weeks here and there. And so we went home. We're trying a bunch of different stuff. And we kind of just went back and was like, you know what, let's just see if the technology in this putter can help me. It really was kind of just like a small experiment. And so I told myself, we were playing Bay Hill, I was like, I'm just committing to this putter for 4 days. Like, I'm going to just play the tournament. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to try and do everything we're working on, and we're just going to see how it goes. And so the first day, like you said, I did not have a good putting day the first round. I maybe lost a couple strokes on the green. Pretty frustrating. I didn't practice after the round. I just went home, chilled, putted a little bit better the second day, a little bit better the third day, a little bit better the fourth day, ended up winning the tournament. And so we're like, okay, well, I can't switch putters now.
Right.
It was
Back yourself into a
taking that
corner
to
there.
Adrian.
Yeah.
Imagine taking that
be
to
like,
Adrian.
I didn't really think it worked just because there's
Holding
nothing.
the trophy.
Yeah, there's nothing like bringing a new piece of equipment under the gun. You don't know how it's going to react.
Sure.
I mean, that's the truest test. Like that's why with the equipment I can do everything I can at home, but at the end of the day, I got to use it in competition to see how it is. And the putter passed the test, and I had some good weeks, and I started to see some really nice improvements. The one thing I liked the most was it took a lot of the thoughts out of my mind. Like I'd already worked on my form had gotten better, and it helped me be looser on the greens to where I was never a guy that aimed to putt at the right edge or aimed at the right center of the hole. I do it kind of like how I play. I look at the destination, I try and figure out a way to get the ball there. And with putting now, that's how I do it, and that's when I'm best. I'm almost like a less is more guy, and the spider really helped me line up where I thought I was lined up, and then helped me start the ball there. And if you have good speed, then you're gonna have a decent chance of making the putt, and that's kind of all we think about now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good run ever since then. I got to ask you, because we talk about the money that's able to be made in golf these days with paychecks, with earnings on the course, which you've benefited from immensely by winning, is so high that we kind of talk about partnerships with equipment companies that you guys choose to do, and how a lot of that value nowadays, I feel like, comes in, and I want to ask you about it more than tell you about it, but feels like it comes in having the resources of all this that are here at your disposal at tournaments with all the putters, having Adrian, having all the different options with the driver and all of that. Like, is that an enormous value to you doing your craft at the highest level?
Yeah, enormous value. And I've always been, since I turned pro, I actually didn't sign with a club company. But the most important thing for me has always been the on-course product.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And so in 2022, I actually did. I signed with Taylormade. I really liked the driver. Saw some improvements there. I was already using the irons, and it seemed like a pretty natural fit. I believed in the company. I believed in the guys. Adrian's been amazing for me. And I was actually sitting last night with DA, the CEO, and we were just kind of talking about things. And the work that is put in behind the scenes to get a product in my hand is so in depth.
Yeah.
I mean, it is wild what they will do in order to get the best equipment in our hands. And I even look back at this season. I don't know if I could have won the PGA Championship without Adrian. I mean, Adrian took a look at my driver, does all the testing. He's like, hey, this thing's going to fail soon. Like, we need to get something in place so when it does fail, we're ready. And sure enough, I use it for a couple more weeks. It fails at the PGA. But when Adrian told me that, we did our prep work. We got our driver ready. He did all the work. He got the driver.
It gives me the
chills. He got it fit for me. We got it right, and I ended up using it in competition the next week, first week with a new driver, and ended up winning the PGA Championship. And if I didn't have the relationship that I have with Adrian, if he didn't work as hard as he does, if TaylorMade didn't do all the stuff they do behind the scenes, it would have been a really tough thing for me to manage, especially not having the relationship with a great company like TaylorMade. And so I'm very thankful for their support. They make a great product, and they work really hard doing it.
Adrian, man.
Wow,
Adrian's the
dude.
man.
God, that's just, that name gets whispered around everywhere, and people are like, he's the best. That's an incredible story. Wow.
No, he really is the best. And yeah, because we've had this conversation so many times, being like, okay, nowadays the difference in, over the course of a whole season, there's moments where if a player finishes 2 strokes better, that pays for more than an equipment company pays them all year long. So it's like I could see how someone would be, and I know Brooks Koepka was just around here, and he seems like a lot of time he's been a pretty independent guy with clubs and whatnot. And so the more we've sort of talked about it, the more we have talked with Adrian, I'm glad he's getting so much love, because I was thinking that if at the end of Bay Hill you had called him with the trophy and been like, I mean, his next phone call was to his therapist, being like, I don't know what I got to do with this guy, man. I'm giving him all the stuff. But I know his whole life is boiled down to preparing the best he can so that you're prepared to go out and win. And I text with him a lot. We all do, DM with him a lot. And like when you guys win, he sends us text being like, Scottie, he's all fired up about it.
Yeah, and I mean, as he should be. He puts in so much work in order for us to get into a position where we can have success. And my thing is always, when I step up on the first tee, I want to be able to tell myself I've done every last thing that I could possibly do in order to play well. I've checked every box, I've done everything, and so now I can go out and compete. And Adrian and the whole rest of the team I have at home is a huge part of that. Just because I know that they all put in the work for us to be in a position where we can succeed, and I'm just really grateful for that. I mean, they all work really hard.
Remember that podcast we did at Liberty National? It was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was probably 2021, maybe.
Yeah, it would have been.
Can you believe what's happened since then?
I mean, not really.
Dude, we got asked, hey, could you guys have this guy Scottie Scheffler on? We're like, yeah, of course. Him and Wyndham Clark, bring him on.
It's because you guys had the moment where he was like, I don't even know if you know who. I didn't think you knew who I was.
At the PGA Championship at
Kiowa.
I was like, Scottie, and you're like, how do you know who I am? You're
what
historically one of the most famous golfers of all time now. The hell's going on? It's like, that's why I say I'm proud of you. It's unbelievable. I am proud of you, Scottie Scheffler.
We're proud of you too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, it's been really great to watch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You are a phenomenal ambassador for the game. We love watching you.
Not to say you're not surprised by it though, right? Did you envision it happening like this?
I think
fast,
growing up,
incredible?
I always had hopes and dreams, and I get to live my dream. It's pretty awesome.
You put the work in.
Well, we all put a lot of work in. I'm serious. For me to get in this position, you talk about Brooks. Brooks and I have the same manager.
Yep.
Our manager, when I turned pro, a lot of managers would maybe want to capitalize on a young guy coming out of school, sign him to club deals. It's his job. He's got to make money too. But when I came out of school, I got a great sponsor, Nike. They sponsored me. I didn't have to sign a club contract. And my manager was like, listen, we need to focus on the on-course product. if we play good golf, everything else will take care of itself. And like, just you look at that relationship. I mean, there's so many people that have been put in a position to help me succeed. It's I'm just really thankful for all those people. Like, you look at a guy like Teddy. I mean, Randy, same coach since I'm 6 years old. So it's
awesome.
We all put in a lot of work in order to get to this position, and we're very grateful to be able to play golf for a living and do stuff like this and have fun.
You're the man.
You are the
freaking man.
Fantastic role model, and keep up the great work. We're gonna hopefully get you back on here soon. Just keep updating everybody on why you're winning. That'd be great.
Appreciate the time.
Scottie
Thank you,
Scheffler,
guys.
world number
Appreciate it.
one. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
I want everyone to know I think it's still funny you haven't given me your new number. I think it's a funny bit we have
You know
going
what's
on.
even funnier is even if you got my new number, like the amount of text messages I have that I don't.
You're not answering me. No chance, right?
I'm really bad with my phone.
It's
You
okay.
don't want to have.
It's a funny bit. I think it's funny.
You don't want to have my phone number because then you're going to be texting me like, "Man, this guy's not responding to me again."
All right, my friends, that was Scottie Scheffler. Awesome guy as always. Like we said, I hope people enjoyed the hell out of that. And let's see a little bit more Scottie out there this year. Let's be all over that guy, because I looked on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I think he's like minus 130 or something to win a major championship this year. He's minus
goodness.
Championship this year.
Also, make sure you watch that video on YouTube. If you've been listening to it, go back and watch it on YouTube, because you got to see the swings. Scottie swinging without moving his feet is
unbelievable.
Something that like I can't really get out of my brain. It's just one of those. It's like that. It's cringe TikTok or cringe Instagram where you watch it and it makes you feel awkward, but you can't look away. Scottie Scheffler not shuffling his feet and doing the Scottie shuffle and just swinging like a normal country club, your local country club pro golf swing is outrageous to see. And that sounds insane to even to think that looks that weird, but he just looks like he's stuck in cement. I brought that video. We had the video on Brendan's phone, because obviously we have like the good version that was filmed with the cameras. But on Brendan's phone, we just had the social video, and I was showing it to like TaylorMade executives, and every single one of them went, "Oh!" It's like, first of all, this was a baby cut right down the middle, like 320. Like, I mean, he absolutely nuked this thing right down the middle. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, like, what is that? I hate that. I hate how that looks." I'm thinking to myself, that's the best swing you'll ever see. That's the best swing you'll see all day.
Also, be on the lookout to see if that messes with Scottie's upcoming season at all. He misses the cut, does a post-round interview, and says, "I've just at TaylorMade Media Day, I swung without moving my feet, and it's the only thing I can think about over the ball." If that happens, that's on us.
And him saying that's only the second time he's done that in his like professional career. The other time being Nick Faldo on the range at the Masters is outrageous. Like, no one's asked him. Us and Nick Faldo, who's a guest of the show back in the Borelli's days when he came and called me a delicate little flower because I wouldn't drink the whiskey. Boy, would I surprise him now with the amount of whiskey and scotch I'm drinking. I would love to have another night with Nick Faldo. I could talk him up a storm about the scotch now. But
you turned into an adult,
I've turned into an adult. I grew a little hair. I grew one hair on my chest, right in between my boobs.
That's right.
Just one little hair comes out, and I tickle it. It's disgusting. But yeah, Scottie Scheffler, man, what a swing! I would do anything to have that be my gross swing.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the driver a little bit more. TaylorMade. So the new driver launched on Thursday of last week, same day that our most recent podcast came out. So we haven't really talked about it a ton on the show. Qi4D. I mentioned it before, but really good sign that you're seeing the top players in the world are putting it in play immediately. The reviews have been insane. I haven't hit it a ton. I haven't had time to go to like the range and really be like, okay, Mr. New Qi4D, you and me got to get to know each other. We got to feel each other out. What do we like? What do we not like about each other? But I got it right here. The head cover, incredibly sleek. I like that it's a little bit subtle. And then I know Frankie did a great job on his Instagram story of talking about the little accents and the colors from the orange, the look of the face. It's got that hint of blue on it, and then the look from the top is just, it's so appealing. It feels like you're going to hit it straight. It feels like you're going to hit it far. The big focus this year was speed on this bad boy, has been talked about in golf a ton. I've got the LS here, which is the low spin. Your boy could get just a little bit steep and spinny with the driver when I get uncomfortable. And as a guy that's trying to hit it just harder and faster, I think I like the LS a lot. This thing it's got the launch monitor enabled tech on the ones that Rory and Tommy are using. So you'll see kind of on the face that if you go to a launch monitor, you can get all the data right away because it's built in. But point being, this thing's got multiple movable weights so that you can put the weight in the front, in the back. You can obviously adjust the loft if you would like to. It's got 3 different heads, which is the LS, the one that I'm showing you, the core one, which is just the Qi4D, and then the Max, which is a little bit more forgiving. I believe that's the one that Nelly Korda uses. So it's not like you got to be like a bad player to use that. She's like the best driver of the golf ball in the female game on earth. But insanely sexy driver, gents.
Yeah, they have that hint of bronze in there in the black, which I know was a huge addition for them. They really liked that sleek kind of look. The players are all about the look. They want to feel confident looking down at the golf ball. When you have Rory McIlroy on the tee box, on the 18th tee box, trying to win the Masters and trying to win his Grand Slam major, he wants to look down at that driver and have it be a confident feel and something that he thinks that he can get the job done with. And this is every time you see a new addition to the driver, they're going back to the best players in the world and getting their feedback on what they need. So, and I said this before the interview, like there's no denying that the QI35 had a couple of, not issues, but a couple of the guys loved the QI10 so much and they were so good with it and they loved the shape of it and they loved the coloring of it and everything and they loved the sound of it, that the switch to them was a little bit too much of a leap. Now, whether it be the best driver that they ever made or not, that's for most of the consumers that went out and got the driver. It has nothing to do with the pros because the pros are so dialed into what they are comfortable with. Now, to make them change to a new driver is like the biggest deal for these manufacturing companies. And the fact that they saw what happened with the Q35, they got the feedback, and the feedback turned into, let's go back to a pear-shaped head, which is closer to the QI10. That pear-shaped head is what people loved about the QI10. I think the QI35 got a little bit bigger and boxier. The Qi4D now has that gunshot sound. So that immediate instant gratification that you absolutely smoked that thing. The QI35 was a little bit muted. And I guess that was for all reasons, for like getting more forgiveness. The forgiveness was the call for the QI35. They're going back to speed and power now and fast. Like that sound when you hit that golf ball, dude, it's like, it's real instant.
It's incredible sound.
It's
so
instant
appealing.
satisfaction of like, I just did it. Regardless of where you hit it on the face, you're going to feel like you're actually making great contact on that. And listen, like for us, a bunch of guys that go out there and shoot 92s and 95s, like, of course, if we don't put good swings on these things, the balls are going to go everywhere. We did that video with Luke Clanton,
Facts
Fore,
only,
and Carl Phillips. Like my first swing, I literally hit it onto the other fairway and almost killed Nelly Korda. Like, of course, if you made a driver that had 99% success rate of it going 400 yards, but there was 1% that if you missed any part of the face, it would go left, I would still be hitting that ball left. Like that's just me from time to time. I'm a bad golfer. We really, when we got to dial this thing in on the driving range, saw how fast, how good it feels. And just, it brings, I like a smaller head. I think that's why I hit the 3-wood and the 5-wood and the 7-wood a lot better than like the big max drivers.
Me too.
I thought the QI35 was a little bit big for me, and I always felt a little bit more uncomfortable coming through it. It felt like I was swinging kind of like a balloon at the end of the shaft. This has that sleek, just missile feel when you're swinging it. You can hit up on it a little bit better. And I think the biggest change for me that I love just seeing it for a couple of hours on the driving range at the Taylormade day was that they've rounded the face a little bit. So every single driver, regardless of what your loft is, feels like it's lofted behind the ball. So you could see more, face on it. So actually the part on the top where Riggs is showing that on the video, that white line, that was actually more just like horizontal to the target last year. And now it's facing a little bit closer towards your eyes. So you actually feel like the ball is sitting, the club face is sitting nice behind the golf ball with a little bit of loft. And I think that was a huge talking point from the players. Guys like Rory McIlroy or Scottie Scheffler, they love to see the face behind the ball a little bit more. And this just happens a little bit more naturally. So I think that this is a great driver for them. I think that you're going to see the best players in the world playing them. They're going to be winning majors with them. And just congratulations to the entire TaylorMade team for yet another incredible feat in the game of golf. This is not easy to keep changing things and coming out with new technologies. And they've been working on stuff. Each iteration has been worked on for 5-10 years to get to that point. It's amazing. It really is. So I love it. And I hope it makes me a better player. And if it doesn't, then that's on me.
Well, they also have so many people to please, right? Like they have to have the best players in the world want to use it. and then it has to go out to consumers as well. So you're dealing with both ends of the spectrum in terms of golf games, where you want Rory to use it, you want Scottie to use it, but then you want guys like us to use it. And I think that's where the different size head comes in. I use the Max for sure. It's got the most forgiveness. And I love that thing. I mean, I hit it a few times while we were there at Taylormade Media Day, and I loved it. But I really am. I stand in awe of the Taylormade team, all the guys behind the scenes who just make the club and make it incredible. You just have to hit so many touch points in what you're trying to do. And every single year, it seems like they nail it. And I love this new driver. I love the way it looks when you look down on it.
Yeah, and I to that point, I think that the adjustability in the fitting aspect of it is so huge, and it's so interesting when you stand on the range. And if you move the heavy weights, you put them in the back of the club, and the lighter weights kind of into the front of the club, and the different type of ball flight you'll get versus if you flip that around and it's lighter in the back and heavier up front by the ball, you can all of a sudden see a much flatter, like hotter ball flight, depending on kind of what your speed is. That might be beneficial to you. Or if you're sort of got the opposite effect, you can't really get the ball up in the air much, and you switch the weights around, then all of a sudden you get a lot more spin. Your driver comes out, hot. Your ball comes out higher, and that's what you want. You're going to get more carry, and all those things can be tweaked within the club. You can change the loft. You can change where the weights are, whether they're heavier in different spots of the club. It's amazing. And so, yeah, I'm blown away by this one. I think they did a great job. I'm so excited to go out this week. I'm going to try to get a couple sessions in where I really hit it, get comfortable with it, get to know it. And I'm going to post some videos of that. But the sound is awesome. If people think that I always love, like, when you go out in the afternoon and you film like a 9 and 90 and there's nothing else going on in the world. It's like around dusk, golden hour. And the sound is so amazing when you hit the golf ball, which is one of the great aesthetics of golf, is just the sound and the sound the ball makes. That's why they put microphones right next to the golf ball when guys tee off and when they hit. But a lot of times I'll notice some comments of like, love that you guys piped in fake sound when you hit the golf ball. Wait till what they're going to think now with this thing, because it sounds fucking incredible.
I think they said they had like 50 sound engineers working on this thing to make it have that little extra bit of pop. And you could tell when we were on the range, it was like, whoa, that's a big difference from the last one.
Think about how much of a change it's been since the sim days, the stealth days of like the amount of carbon they've added to this thing and how soft the actual material is that they're using. I mean, this stuff is still a incredible feat to be able to have it withstand like impact of a golf swing. We're still in that world where you're looking down at it saying, I can't believe they've accomplished this, where the whole entire thing is basically carbon. It's insane. Like there's no strength to any of the materials that they're using, but it absolutely works. And to be able to manufacture that now with the sound, which like I can't even wrap my head around being able to do that. How do you add sound to something that is the same technology that you've been just improving from the last one? It's not like there's no microphones in there. It's like I don't understand how they do it. I don't know how they do it. It really, I mean, you open it up, it's hollow. The thing, it's like what did you what do you mean? How is this one sound different? I don't get that.
Pair that with performance, right? Like the fucking differences that the sound people want to make just so that it sounds better might make the golf ball go 80 yards offline. And then they got to like somehow hone all of that in to have it all sync up to where, no, Scottie Scheffler is going to be like, yep, I'm putting this in play. I'm the best player in the world. I've gotten to this point. I'm winning majors. I'm winning 6, 7, 8, 9 tournaments a year. I'm winning Olympic gold medals, but I'm going to change from that driver to this one. And it sounds amazing. It's like, how the fuck do they do that? How do they do that?
Yeah, I can't stress enough, and you just heard from Scottie, but I can't stress enough how important it is for everyone that's listening to realize that Scottie's putting this one in the bag. Like you heard Adrian talk about it we've talked to him over the last like 2 years of him trying to get Scottie Scheffler to use certain golf clubs and like how hard it is for him to dive into that and change being the best. He is the best golfer in the world. He's like, I like this stuff. This is what makes me me. And they're like, here's this new driver. He's like, I like that. I want that one. That is, and I asked them that. I'm like, did you guys like set off fireworks at Taylormade Media Day when he's like, I'll take that? Like, I mean, at what point are you like legitimately popping champagne that Scottie Scheffler is like, yep, this is the best driver in the world?
Well, there is a bit of, at the Barstool Classic on a whole, we'll do long drive, TaylorMade sponsored, and we'll give people a new driver if they win that longest drive contest. And it's a little bit like that, where the person's like, well, I hit the longest drive of my life on that hole. I did really well at something, and now you're giving me the new thing.
Yeah.
Scottie Scheffler winning every single tournament that he enters and then being like, here's the new driver. He's like, well, I just won a bunch with all those. Why would I? But you're right, Frankie. He is using this thing and it's going right in the bag. So it's an incredible testament to the people at TaylorMade.
Congrats to TaylorMade. You'll be seeing us using this thing and hopefully using it well throughout the year. NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. Look, this last weekend with NFL football was just phenomenal. You want to make sure you got some skin in the game. If you're not a fan of one of these teams, which you're not going to be a fan of every team in the playoffs, that would just be weird and impossible. But guess what? You're going to be a fan of rooting for your bets, having some skin in the game, and you're going to do that through the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, Frankie talks about it at some point during the show. His buddy who's got a hot hand, he's sending picks into the group chat. People are going crazy. They're taking it. That's the most fun. When your buddies are in on something, everybody's in on something together, whether it be a money line pick or a spread or whatever it may be. Everybody's in on one thing. You go on the DraftKings Sportsbook, you put in the bet, and then you just let the chips fall where they may. And it's a really, really fun time of year to get on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and just look around. It's fun.
And postseason games shift fast. I don't know what the exact stat was, but there were dozens of lead changes in each one of these games. And with the DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. I want to say I heard by the time we had gotten to the last game of the weekend, which was Sunday night, we're recording this on Monday, so there's a Monday night game too. But on Sunday night, there'd only been 20 lead changes or something across the NFL playoffs. So things move quickly. And with DraftKings live betting options, again, you can stay right in the moment. New customers bet just $5. And if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings Sportsbook, every drive, every play, every moment. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code FORE, that's code FORE, F-O-R-E, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
All right, folks, we're about to get into the Brooks Koepka news. Some of the biggest news we'll ever have while recording a podcast. You're about to hear three grown men who love this game of golf essentially learn this news live. So the first half of this Brooks Koepka segment, we're just guessing what we think is going to happen. We're breaking down everything that goes from he's defecting from LIV, he wants to come back to PGA Tour. Is it going to happen? And then bam, breaking news noise is going to hit your earwaves, and we're going to be living in a time where Brooks Koepka is on the PGA Tour. Here it all is.
Brooks Koepka. So rumors are going crazy, running rampant, if you will, on the Brooks Koepka situation. I believe it was our old pal Dan Rappaport on January 9th, I think, was the first to report that Brooks Koepka has officially applied for PGA Tour reinstatement. What that looks like, nobody knows. There's a lot of belief that a decision by the PGA Tour on how to handle that for the season of 2026 will need to be made before the season of 2006 kicks off, which is Thursday, and it kicks off Thursday in Hawaii. So it's coming up pretty quickly, and I think a lot of the reasoning for that is that you can't really retroactively, once the season kicks off, make a decision on this or that. There's it's not just Brooks Koepka, and it's not going to be just Brooks Koepka as things start to unfold over the next couple of years. People have mentioned the fact that Bryson's contract's up at the end of this year. I think Rahm's contract maybe is up at the end of this year. So what happens with Brooks Koepka now will sort of lay the precedent. If you're a legal scholar, this is kind of the way that works. Legal precedent is everything. So if you've got these other folks from LIV, as the dominoes continue to fall, that want to return to the PGA Tour, however you handle this Brooks Koepka situation is going to kind of lay the framework for how you handle everybody else's situation. So point being, I think they want to try to make a decision before the tour season kicks off, and that kicks off in just a couple days. So a lot of people are thinking that we might hear something very soon about the future of Brooks Koepka. My hunch is that they're going to say, yep, you're back. Brooks Koepka is back. Now, whether they throw in some sort of caveat that they could do it in an interesting way where it's like if you're a multiple time major winner, you're exempt from the 1 year ban from the PGA Tour when you try to do reinstatement, because that would then not allow every person that's played on Live to come back if they want to, but it would allow Brooks Koepka and it would allow Bryson DeChambeau and it would allow John Rahm. So how they handle it's going to be unclear. But I think everybody kind of weighing the pros and cons and giving their takes on the whole thing. I feel now in 1 week, much like it's much more likely than I thought a week ago that Brooks Koepka is going to play on the PGA Tour at some point this year.
Do the Live contracts not have a non-compete? Because the news when it broke about Brooks Koepka leaving Live was that he had 1 year left on his deal. So he can just still jump right from one tour to another. Like if you're Live, that's the worst contract you've ever made in the history of contracts.
Here's what my guess would be: no, because Liv's original argument was that the PGA Tour was being ridiculous by not letting him play Live and the PGA Tour. So then if Live had written into their contracts non-compete, I think that would have killed their original argument. Now, they probably wish they would have done that now, but I can't imagine they wrote that into the original one, because I think that was like their key. Like, wasn't that what Greg Norman was tweeting out every day? Was that like, this is ridiculous? Like, we're not trying to compete with the PGA Tour. We're trying to be a whole other thing. People should be able to play both.
Well, okay, so then if that's true, in terms of setting a precedent, if you just let Brooks jump from one tour to the next and the PGA Tour is like, yep, come on, we want you. You're a big star. You're going to bring in ratings. We'd love to have you back. Boom, you're playing. So get ready. The tour starts now. Then other guys are just going to be like, oh, I have 2 years left of my deal. I don't give a fuck. I want to go back onto the PGA Tour and just play there. If that's what everybody's going to do. If that's the way, if that's where all of this momentum is going, then screw these contracts. They don't mean anything. I'm just going to jump.
What if they came up with some unique solution where this is an outrageous idea? This is just coming from my brain, but
let's hear
what if they said, Brooks, you could come back for 1 year, but every accolade that you accomplish is yours, right? If you win the Players, that's like a Players Championship for yourself. If you win the WM Phoenix Open, that's yours. But every dollar that you have accumulated goes into a pot, and like call it the 50th ranked player to the 120th ranked player, they'll split all your earnings for the whole entire year. So like he can't make any money on the PGA Tour this year. It gets divvied up amongst like whoever it might be. They choose who it might be. It goes to like the player pool, or it goes to charity or something. He can't make any money this year. I think that would make people feel a little bit better around him, of like, all right, at least he's not like he went and got paid on this thing, came back, now he's double dipping. You get like a 1 year money suspension on the PGA Tour for coming back. What do you think about that?
I kind of like that.
I mean, I love it from just like a pure, ethical standpoint, to give back to the folks that are not as fortunate as you at Tour. I love it. I can't imagine that
he needs a slap on the wrist or something. You need something.
I can't imagine he got out of his Live contract without paying a substantial amount of money.
Oh,
I mean, so if he did, a 4-year deal, I guess is what he must have done. And, he owes a fourth or whatever of his contract, like back if they gave him $100 million, let's say, and you have to write a check for $25 million. That ain't the easiest thing in the world to write, because it's like shit.
I was wondering about that, because the whole Brooks Koepka leaving Live thing was a little too clean. They were just like, yeah, go ahead. You can go, sayonara. We had a good time with you, but you can now just, this contract that we've all talked a lot about and they were worth so much money, you can just get out of it. And I know
guaranteed contracts. That was like the thing. That was Liv's thing.
Well, I think like guaranteed money, if you live up, like their side is, we'll guarantee this money. Your side is, okay, I'll guarantee I'm here for 4 years. And if you break that,
that's not like guaranteed money then. That's like that's just a contract. Like NFL, if you like sign a guaranteed deal and the guy just like gets hurt or like doesn't play, like he still gets paid. That's like why guaranteed money like up front is like the biggest talking point in sports. Like you're giving this guy money today, like regardless of what he does tomorrow. Like that's not guaranteed money then. It's just a 4-year deal.
I'm with you. Like if you're a baseball player, right? That's all guaranteed money. It's been that way forever. you sign that deal, you're going to get that money pretty much no matter what. If you're hurt, you can't play, like they're still going to pay that money. This is such an interesting and different case where like there is no alternative to the MLB. So whoever signed that MLB contract isn't like, I'm just going to go back to this other league. Like, what are the precedents? We're not lawyers, but we're using that word a lot. What is the precedent for that? I don't know what it is. And I think I would lean towards what Riggs is saying, where I think you probably got to pay some of that money back.
Well, yeah, because I would be curious. So in MLB, if you sign, whatever, a guaranteed contract, 10 years, and then one day later you go, okay, I'm just not going to play. I don't want to play. I'm not playing. Do you still
I
just
think
get your
you
money?
get the signing bonus for sure. And like, that's usually a huge chunk of change. But like, you might not get the whole entire contract. That's probably
because that's
right.
what he's doing. He's going.
I think
to
it
live.
would
He's
go
saying,
to
I'm not
lawsuits
playing this year. He's going, I'm just not playing this year. I'm healthy. I'm competitive. I'm young, and I'm not playing. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. No, you definitely think like if Ohtani signed a $700 million deal and was like, tomorrow I'm like, I'm not playing, I don't think he can keep that money.
And so it's a weird spot. It's a very weird spot.
In those scenarios, you would think, oh, there's going to be a bunch of lawsuits about like this guy, he signed this under the, under the context that he was going to play and perform for us, and now he's just not doing it. It's like I don't know what they do. It's
strange,
with this
like just like not playing. Because I'm thinking more like Deshaun Watson or something. Like they just threw a bunch of money at that guy. He hasn't like played football, and they just keep paying him. So it's like that's what a guaranteed contract is. Like he's not on their team, and he's just like getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. But like, Brooks Koepka is like, I'm leaving.
And there, as we know now, there is no threat of a lawsuit from Liv. So clearly they worked something out.
Yeah, there has to be. Yeah. Also, in that scenario, then he probably is already taking a shellacking in terms of the cash. But
dude, totally, especially because if you really do think about it, and don't get me wrong, these are hilarious numbers. But if somebody pays you $100 million, okay, let's just make it clean. It might have been more, whatever. They give you $100 million. Well, now you owe Uncle Sam like 40. Okay, so you're getting $60 million, and then after that, you're spending stuff. Brooks Koepka's got probably a couple different homes. He's got some boats. He's got engagement ring. He's got stuff that he spent that money on. So now let's say in order to get out of your last year of your contract it was a 4-year deal, I believe. 1/4 is $25 million. Now that you got 60, you spent some of it. Now you have to write a check for $25 million to somebody. Like that is not even financially. That's not easy. Like, he might not have that money like sitting around. He might not be $25 million liquid. He might have to go sell some stocks, and then if he does, he's got to pay capital gains on the stocks that he bought. Like it's not that easy to just write a check for $25 million to somebody. So whatever that punishment was, I can't imagine they just were like, oh yeah, dude, go back to the tour. That's great. It's something that had to have occurred, I would think. I just don't know that we'll ever know what that is, unfortunately. So
my guess is if I can read the tea leaves on what Brian Rolap has done thus far, or the ideas that he's had, or just sort of the way that he thinks, these guys are back. He's like, they'll just put out some sort of statement where it's like, yeah, we thought they paid their penny, but it'd be a word salad for like 2 paragraphs, and then the last one will be, we are happy to welcome Brooks Koepka back onto the PGA Tour. It's done, because they know, the leadership at the PGA Tour knows that if this happens and a couple more defect back to the PGA Tour, Liv's dead.
Breaking news. You've seen it all over the internet, I'm sure, and through your group texts. Kind of unbelievable timing based on the entire conversation that we just had and that you probably just listened to. Brooks Koepka has been reinstated by the PGA Tour under some pretty hefty fines and punishments, largely on the financial side. But nonetheless, he is reinstated immediately. He will be playing in the Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines. He'll be playing in the WM Phoenix Open right here. He's already committed to those events. He's eligible for all non-signature events and the Players' Championship throughout the year. He's eligible for prize money. He's eligible to qualify for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Just a couple other bullet points before we get everybody's takes. He will not be taking the space or spots of any other players. So if he is in a field and his spot would have taken the spot of somebody else, they will just expand the field, and they'll probably even expand the field a little bit more because they want an even number of players, not an odd number of players. If he does get into the FedEx Cup playoffs, he will not take the spot of someone who earns the FedEx Cup playoff spot. So they'll just expand the field for that. And then also if he, if in the way that he plays throughout the year, he gets exemption, earns a status for the PGA Tour for, next year, he will not take the place of someone else who otherwise would have gotten their cards. In terms of the penalties that he's going to pay, it is an agreed upon charity that Brooks Koepka will be donating $5 million to. He is not eligible for the PGA Tour Player Equity Program, which is essentially for, a relatively small select group of players that have extraordinary achievements on the PGA Tour. They estimated he's not eligible for that for the next 5 years. They estimate that to cost him $50 to $80 million in value over time. He is ineligible for the 2026 FedEx Cup bonus, so the money that comes with that. And then he also, outside of that, in terms of what they've stipulated, is this window that we're going to get into where the returning member program, the window for applying if you're eligible is up until February 2nd. That is like the day before the first live event. That's also the Monday, I believe, of the WM Phoenix Open. And the criteria for being eligible for that is a very funny criteria where you must have won either the Players' Championship or one of the 4 majors from 2022 until 2025. The only 4 players that are eligible for that are on live are Brooks Koepka, Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cameron Smith. There's a couple other little bullets and whatnot that maybe I didn't throw into that, but let's discuss it first, gentlemen, and then we can kind of go through that. My first take that I'll throw it over is just that I'm hoping and believing that this very much may be a sign that the PGA Tour is ushering in a new era of quick, sensible, and rational thinking brain decision-making.
Rational thinking brains for sure. I mean, getting Brooks Koepka in here is the right move. Unbelievable that we just recorded our thoughts on this, and then as we're recording, this breaks. We go back. I was feeding Frankie apples and cranberries, and now I had to come back on the show. We're living in a world now where Brooks Koepka is now on the PGA Tour. My main takeaway from this is what a fuck you to Joaquin Niemann. Just the biggest middle finger right on his forehead. Just the PGA Tour took their middle finger and they threw it right on his forehead. And they said, that's what I got for you. Everyone says that you're the best player in the world, but you're on live. I don't give a fuck. We are only taking these guys. This window ain't for you, brother. So that's my biggest takeaway. I don't know what the hell that's about. We only have a certain amount of guys that can come back. I love the timing on it. It's like these guys are scrambling now. I'm sure that there's been a lot of talks behind the scenes. Guys like Bryson, Rahm, Cam Smith, they have had probably more time to digest this than we have. I mean, if we're learning of this now via Twitter, then I'm sure that these guys have had some time to talk with their families, their agents, their teams, and say, all right, are we jumping ship just like Brooksy did? Awesome stuff. Good for the tour. They're smelling and they're tasting and they can see blood in the water. This is an attack move. We're talking 1776 on this show. We're talking a lot of American Revolution. This is a battle, and these are cadets in formation walking towards the enemy, and they are firing, and they are putting more bullets and gunpowder into their guns, and they are firing again, and they're pulling over prisoners of war right now, and they are just taking people. And it's awesome to see. This is nuts. This is ground and pound business.
Yeah. Brian Rolap, he's a man with a plan. He just, far be it for us to besmirch the great name of Jay Monahan. We would never do that on this podcast. Just, he's the opposite. Not a guy who has much of a plan, a lot of middling. He had the weird meeting with Yasser on TV, and people were like, what the fuck is happening? And then nothing happened for 3+ years. And then as soon as Brian Rolap, the new CEO of the PGA Tour, sees an opportunity, he jumps right on it. He's willing to make up these new guidelines and like just calling it the returning member program. Like it feels like he sketched that out on a napkin as soon as he heard Brooks Koepka was like thinking about coming back, and he just put these guidelines in place. I know you talk about Joaquin Niemann. another FU, potentially a petty FU to Phil Mickelson because he won the 2021 at Kiowa and he is not eligible. Obviously, he was one of the main faces and main guys to defect and go to live originally. So that feels like there's some pettiness there potentially. And yeah, I mean, we have been talking about this for a really long time, years at this point. And for a long time, it was a Cold War, largely. It was people weren't really doing anything. You were just sort of sitting there wondering what was going to happen. Now we are on the battlefield. And I must say the PGA Tour has taken a pretty, I mean, the position that they've taken seems pretty advantageous in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity that they were presented with. And for the first time that I can remember in my life, they really pounced and took advantage of it and did it swiftly. There are millions of people in this great country that have not gotten as much done since returning to their desks last Monday as the PGA Tour got done before the first payday of January. It was, I mean, this fucking thing broke, I believe, December 23rd. I think maybe a day before that is when it broke that Brooks Koepka was not going back to live for 2026. And it is now January 12th. It's going to be January 13th when you're listening to this. And they've already figured all of this out and gotten all of this in place. That's incredible. You got to think a lot of those folks were basically on vacation. You know, it's that whole 2.5 week. We did a whole show about how that was too long. You know, you're not even really attached to reality. And somehow in that time, PGA Tour got all of this set up. They figured it out. That has just not been what they've done historically. They move slower than molasses, red tape, bureaucracy. You can't get anything done with the PGA Tour. It's a nightmare trying to do it. The PGA Tour of past, I guess that is, because this is just, nope, guess what? If we ruin somebody's spot, we're just going to expand the fields. That would have taken the tour 2 years in and of itself to come up with that single thing on its own. They open the window until February 2nd. That gives people just enough time to scramble and maybe figure something out, but not enough time to play all your leverage. They come up with the charity thing. So that's nice. They're going to get good PR from that. They get all kinds of bonuses from the fact that Brooks Koepka is now going to inject life into the beginning of this 2026 PGA Tour season. Eyeballs are going to be on this thing, yet he's not part of the equity program. It's all just for the tour, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure there'll be some kinks and whatnot that maybe didn't work out perfectly, but all things considered, I don't know, they could have played this hand much better at this point, and I honestly think that they're in this position. Kudos to the guys that could have left that didn't. Kudos to the Rorys and the Scotties and the Justin Thomases and the Spieths and these folks that were offered money, because if there was a fucking time where we were like, oh my God, it feels like Liv is going to win this thing. We were doing shows being like, well, if it goes this way and it goes that way and then this domino falls in that direction, like it's just going to be Liv at this point. Everybody's going to do team events. Maybe we should do team events. That's what we were talking about. And now it's like they are just delivering kill blows to Liv. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch.
It's really incredible. I've got a couple things. Number one, going back to what Trent had said about 2021, Phil Mickelson winning the PGA. Once Phil Mickelson's contract is up with Liv, is it crazy to say that this now opens the door to him doing what Vijay Singh did, and he can just go back on the PGA Tour because he's top 50 money list?
That would be amazing.
I think you would have to go through a pretty dramatic re-entry experience, because I think Liv has I think he's violated part of that with moving to Liv.
Okay.
But that's a good question. That'd be incredible.
Well, that's the thing, right? With an unprecedented situation that we find ourselves in, that the PGA Tour finds themselves in, you can kind of make it up. And that is what they have done. So
they made this whole thing up. This whole thing was for one Instagram slide. Like this whole thing has just been made up, as Rob White on our social team just put together a slide, and they're like, "What are the rules? Anyone got rules?" Just like we did for Internet Invitational, we had a group chat, and we're like, "What are the rules? No slope."
Right. I could feel.
Hey, somebody slept in. What are the rules? And Dave was like, "Well, he didn't handle it right, so he's 5 holes. He's banned for 5 holes."
As I was reading it, and as I kept reading it, and it was a lot of reading, although I did just read a whole book, but as I was reading it, I could feel my mouth opening when I started to read there is a 3-week window for people to decide. And if you don't make a decision on it now, this is not a precedent. And I'm going to keep using that word for the future going forward. So just because we're allowing this now, once the window is closed, we're gluing that thing shut and putting cement over it. That thing is not open again.
No holes, no mice can get in, nothing. This is an absolutely closed, sealed window for the winter. My other thing was going to be, I've had a lot of dumb takes on this show and a lot of bad predictions and opinions. We were pretty damn close when we just talked about 10 minutes ago before we knew this news about playing for a year or two or however it might be and really giving back to the PGA Tour and what. So now it wasn't to the exact word that I said where it was like it would go into this pool that the 50 to 120 guys would get, but it's pretty close when you talk about that equity thing.
Yeah.
Because Brooks Koepka is going to be bringing a ton of value to the PGA Tour, and that equity and value of the PGA Tour will go up as Brooks Koepka plays in it and he goes to, I mean, I know it's not, they don't own the majors, but he's going to maybe go for his Grand Slam. He's going to become a better player. He's going to be in better form. He's going to be playing in huge events. He'll maybe win the Players. Like, this guy is a freaking player. And as he gets his fans and everyone back into it, the value of his compadres, these guys are all going to make a ton of money off of his value being back. So, like, it kind of is. He's playing for the greater good, and he's losing out on a ton of cash. I know Dan Rappaport's the one that first reported or not reported, but he was the one that kind of laid out all that stuff in the tweet, and he wrote 50 to 80 million. And a lot of people are like, how are you even coming up with that number? That's just based off of like where you think his ranking would be, right? Because the whole equity program is based off of like where your ranking is, your PIP, and all of that stuff. He's going to crush the PIP. He's going to crush all these things. Will he get his ranking back to where it should be? Top 10, top 15? I think so. If he gets back to Brooks Koepka type of golf. So yeah, that he's given up a lot of money to come back here. So this is a guy who on his Instagram just said that this has been his dream his whole entire life. You're going to get a lot of these things. Everyone's just going to forget that he went to live and he basically thought the PGA Tour was nothing and he wanted to get a paycheck. We all know the backstory. His life was not in a good spot. He took the paycheck just like we all would. We all would just take that money, especially when things are going on. Let me just take that bag and let's just move on with it. I'm happy for Brooks Koepka. It all worked out. And I'm happy that Liv at this point is getting their freaking feet put to the fire, because at this point they've got a lot of moves that they got to make to hold on to Cam Smith. You got Bryson DeChambeau, you got John Rahm, who are all seeing the Titanic sinking, and they're either going to go down with the ship with the people playing the freaking violins, or they're going to freaking find a boat and kick Rose and Leonardo DiCaprio off, and they're going to find safety at the PGA Tour. They're going to find safety at Sawgrass.
Yeah, so I believe that number, which the PGA Tour put in their release as well, Rolap wrote that $50 to $80 million is, an estimation on your performance, because I think you acquire more equity based on like high performance, and then the growth of the tour, which is spot on to what you were sort of highlighting earlier and asking if that could possibly happen. This is definitely a way that they're doing that, where he's going to put his time, put his effort in. He's going to do the stuff, right? I mean, he's going to be part of videos and all kinds of like documentaries that they do on PGA Tour's YouTube videos, social clips that they put out. None of that puts money in Brooks's pocket directly, but it grows the PGA Tour. It grows the value of the PGA Tour, which is going to put money in other people's pocket that have the equity and whatnot. So that is directly what you were saying. And yeah, I mean, I think with the window that's now open, I don't know that we're going to get any movement, just because Bryson, I don't think has really interest in going back to the PGA Tour. As crazy as that sounds, he seems happier. He had kind of had the whole statement last month about how, yeah, and if I just do YouTube golf and then play the majors, that would be great too. I think, if anything, I saw somebody tweeted that, in a twist of irony, Brooks Koepka might have just made Bryson DeChambeau the richest golfer in the history of the world, because the leverage that he's got now over Liv, for them enticing him not to leave and jump ship, is substantial. So if they do that, he's going to get a laughable payday. John Rahm and Cam Smith and Bryson, really, I don't know that they even have enough time to get out of their Liv contracts by February 2nd to like figure out and square away all that stuff. So even if they decided, well, we'll figure out the contractual stuff later, I'm gonna reapply for the PGA Tour, Then they're facing like legal battles and fees for years and years, which I don't think they want to be in. So I'll be very surprised if anybody else jumps at the window. But the fact that they presented the challenge, they gave them that window, they very clearly wrote in very clear terms, this window is closing and there's no promise that it's ever going to reopen, is phenomenal. It's hardball. It's striking while the iron's hot. It's seeing an opportunity and absolutely pouncing on it. And all of that is only going to make it better for us as viewers, just seeing the fact that like Brooks Koepka is going to be back, playing against and with on a more consistent basis the other best players in the world, seeing the like kind of the flexibility within the PGA Tour decision makers. Like I think a lot of people thought, yeah, it would be funny if they implemented some rule about you had to have won multiple majors or something to come back, but like they've always treated everybody equal when they do that stuff, so they wouldn't. Oh, no. They went even farther than that to be like, we're going to include everybody except for Phil Mickelson is kind of who we're going to include, and we're going to do it by you had to have won a major between 22 and 25 is such a hilariously specific window. So, yeah, dude, an awesome statement for Brian Roloff.
It really does, even more so, and I think we talked about it in the earlier discussion where I really want to know the details of Brooks Koepka's departure from LIV. I just want to know those trade secrets. Like, how did it go? Did he have to pay? Is there something in there that says that they don't have where you can leave? You can just get up and leave. Like, I really, and I'm sure Bryson and Rahm and Cam Smith want to know those details too. And I wonder if there's any discussion about that because, I mean, the Brooks thing from the outside looking in, he made it seem really easy to leave LIV. He was like, I want to spend time with my family. It's a mutual departure, no big deal, like blah, blah, blah. But now I think the struggle for the other guys, if they want to, and in my head, Rahm is the only guy who might be like, I think I might do that because he seems like a guy. He went to LIV and he got $500 million or whatever, but he's like, he sits at home and watches the players and is like, man, I wish I was competing against Scottie Scheffler and Rory. So, but I think their departure, if they want it from LIV, will be far messier than the one that Brooks got.
Right.
Incredible stuff, man. Really,
amazing.
Really good. Shout out to the PGA Tour getting it done. This is what we want to see from sports leagues. This is what we want to see from the PGA Tour. The world moves fast now. Twitter, Instagram, all of this stuff. We just get all our news so fast, and the leagues have to be able to move with it. We saw just a couple weeks ago, Brooks said he doesn't want to play on LIV anymore. Now we have an answer. It's very satisfying. It's quick. It's clean. We have all the information in front of us. We get to all discuss it now. And yeah, we get to see leaderboards at big PGA Tour events with Brooks Koepka playing in them. That's awesome. Like, that's just what we want to see. You want to see him playing against Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa. You see Brooks Koepka up there. It's not just every four, the one major every couple months that you see this guy and you see his name. You're like, holy shit, I haven't thought about Brooks Koepka in a while. Now you're seeing him all the time.
He will get a hero's welcome at the Waste Management.
Oh yeah.
They're
gonna. The PGA Tour's getting the same like thing that LIV got when everyone went to LIV. That huge bump of like, wow, I can't believe they got this guy. Like the PGA Tour's getting that for free now. Like the guy's coming back. Like
they're actually making money on it.
They're making money on it. So it's huge, dude. It's absolutely huge for everyone involved.
LIV Golf released a statement. I just kind of went through it, and it doesn't really say a ton. It says, from the outset, LIV Golf has championed an open ecosystem and freedom for all, not just for a limited few. A little bit of a pointed move there at the tour, but I don't think it's really going to help at this point. One that supports players' rights to compete across various platforms, reinforcing the belief that the growth of the game is best served when the game's best players are empowered to seek the most competitive environments around the world. LIV Golf's vision remains unchanged to grow the game of golf globally, and as that vision gains momentum across the broader golf landscape, the capacity to deliver on it continues to strengthen by expanding pathways and opportunity beyond any single institution or interest. Kind of a bunch of nothing there. Last paragraph. As the world's golf league, LIV Golf continues to offer the best professional golfers the most competitive, challenging, and lucrative environment in which to pursue greatness on a global scale. And then they signed it, Long Live Golf, with LIV. Yeah, just kind of a lot of nothing in that statement, I would say.
Global game, I get. It's like, whatever, go win that then. I don't know. It's like they're losing now, and It's not even close. Brooks brought over so many people. The vocal minority that you would always hear from, it's like, you're not going to give Liv the time of day, you're not going to watch, was like mainly because Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau were over there. You know what I mean? Like that was it. Like Brooks went over there. It's like, whoa, he had a big fan base. And now it's like, you're not going to give him time of day now? You guys aren't going to talk about Brooks Koepka? It's like, now he's back. He came back. He's back. Now. PGA Tour.
Dude,
he's given up $80 million to come back.
Well, him and Bryson too are the two. You know, they won major since they went to Live. So it's like these are their two dogs they got that are really competing. John Rahm too, but he didn't win a major, but competing. Like maybe three dogs that are really competing at the majors, competing at the highest level still, that are over there. One of them's gone.
Dude, I mean,
I need Rahm back, man. Rahm needs to be back.
Rahm's great. I love
this
Rahm.
thing is starting to tilt in a way where it's like, man, I think this fight might be about over. If one more guy jumps, even if it's Cam Smith, I think this thing is like it's open season and it's really over.
International guys like Cam Smith and Rahm, I could see just staying over there until their contracts are over. But like the Bryson one, I know that there's a lot that comes into it, but like you're telling me he doesn't want to just play back on the PGA Tour with that schedule right now. It's really not that bad, man. Like you're playing more on Live. You're traveling around the world. It's like, come on, you're the busiest guy ever. You got YouTube videos coming out. Can't be about the schedule. It can't be about the money anymore. Let's go. Figure it out. Get your lawyers, get all your ducks in a row and get back. Let's make some waves before February. Let's make some waves.
The vibe I get from him is almost more he would just leave Live. And he mentioned it about a month ago about like, I could do YouTube golf in the majors. I really don't know if he has a desire to go back to the PGA Tour. His life was not
I know.
great
He's
on
got
the
that whole
Tour.
thought of like, he wants to create like a golf ecosystem in California or something like that. Like, he wants to build that community. So he wants like as much money as he possibly can get. He wants billions so that he can like change the world and build housing, and he wants to build like schools and stuff. I don't know what his plan is. His plan's much bigger than just hitting fairways and greens, I think. So
like Riggs said, he's got the leverage now.
If
he wants to just become the Live guy, they'll pay him. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah, it's true.
They might cut him a check for $500 million. Be
Right.
like, just, stay on Live for the next 5 years. I don't know how you say no to that. And then it's like,
can't.
keep playing fucking breaking 50 with President Trump. You play Live events like 12, 15 times a year, and then you can win the US Open every couple of years. Like, that's all right. That's not a bad life. Let's be honest, watching YouTube swing tips isn't fixing your golf game. That's why we built the Fore Skills Golf training aids with the people who actually know training. Skills makes the stuff players at every level use to get better, and we turn that into gear that helps you groove a real, repeatable swing and a real, reliable golf game. I feel like we, especially myself, I think Trent played the best golf that we've played on camera last year in 2025. Probably not a coincidence that we came out with the skills. I use them. I post at Daily Nines. I'm trying to get out whenever I can to work on my game. I want to play better. I think playing good golf relative to your skill level, your stuff, whatever, playing good golf is the most fun thing in the entire world. Playing golf already when you play shitty is unbelievably fun. Playing it really well, again, for you, that could be breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 80, breaking 70, whatever it might be. Playing it well is just the most fun thing in the world. And the skills set that we came out with is going to help you do that.
Yeah, playing good golf is the best. And people are always asking, or they're always wondering, like, how do I get better at golf? You watch swing videos, you watch professionals, how do they do it? You maybe take a lesson or so, but like these skills items can help you practically get better. There's a bunch of them. You go on there, look at what you need help in terms of your game. Maybe it's all of them. Maybe it's just a couple of them. Go on there, get it, and then you can just work on your game and you will get better. That's the beauty of it. You're going to get better. You use these skills items. You are going to get better at the game of golf. And like Rick said, what's better than that? Nothing.
Head to golfgalaxy.com/barstool or to a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or Golf Galaxy location near you. Our co-branded line, plenty of tools to help you break 100, break 90, break 80, whatever it might be. The hinge trainer, the swing guide trainer, chipping net, all kinds of cool stuff. The alignment mirror for putting. Head to golfgalaxy.com/barstool or to a Dick's Sporting Goods House of Sport or Golf Galaxy location near you. Another guy coming back to the PGA Tour. I bet you guys didn't see this one coming. 62, about to be 63-year-old Vijay Singh is making his return to the PGA Tour. He has not played a PGA Tour event since the Honda Classic of 2021, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now the Cognizant Classic. He has not made a cut since the 2000 Memorial Tournament, and the last time he played 10 or more events on the PGA Tour was 2017, 2018 season. However, he has opted into his exemption as being top 50 all time in PGA Tour money list earnings with $71 million, which allows him to play full membership for a season of their choice. And Vijay fucking Singh has come out of the clouds and been like, you know what my year is, boys and girls? My year is 2026, and he's playing in the Sony Open this weekend, and it's got people riled up. I fucking love it, man. You go out there and you make $71 million on the PGA Tour. I also didn't realize Vijay Singh didn't get onto the PGA Tour until he was 29 years old. So he kind of got out there relatively old to go out there and have a dominant Hall of Fame type career. He got to #1 in the world during Tiger Woods' reign in the early 2000s. And, man, you play that well. I know it's ridiculous. I know he's going to be 63 years old. I know he's had some run-ins with the rules in the past, from deer antler spray to, like, apparently cheating on the Chinese tour or the Asian tour over there. But, buddy, you made $71 million, and that's in the bylaws, and you want to come out of the clouds and play? Good for Vijay Singh, man.
I'm almost more interested in this rule that I didn't know about. If you're in the top 50 money earnings of all time on the PGA Tour, you at any time get to pick one season where you get full membership. Do I have that correct?
Yep.
Can you pull up the top 50 players of all time? Can we see like who number 48 is, and if they can make a little comeback here?
It's just funny. Everybody, we talk so much on the show about guys grinding to get a tour card, and if you make enough money, you can just come back for one season.
This was the Kevin Kisner rule from last year. This was the Kevin Kisner rule from last year. Remember that?
Riggs, I actually don't. I sort of remember what you're talking about, but I kind of don't.
Dude, Kiz had a couple bad years of golf, and he was able to have full status on tour up through last year because of this exemption where he was top 50 all-time PGA Tour money list earners. However, people were like catching him quickly. So actually at the end of 2024,
that's right,
there was like a little bit of a race with maybe Max Homa. And Max Homa was like, if he earned enough money in his last event, he would move Kiz from like 49th to 51st or something. And he wouldn't have stayed inside the top 50 and therefore wouldn't have been able to play. But if people recall, like last year, Kiz was able to play quite the tour schedule, even though he hadn't had much success in a couple of years. And that was because I think he was top 50 all-time PGA Tour money list winners through last year.
He's 55 right now. I just saw his name.
I got to ask, is this the one that includes the live guys, or is this the anti-Phil Mickelson list?
It's a great question.
Let's see.
This is the anti-Phil Mickelson list.
That's unbelievable. See, this is what people don't understand about this fucking this PGA Tour website. This is the anti-Phil Mickelson list. We got to find the other one.
Right, I have that right.
Where's the other one, Ryan Richardson? This is unbelievable. They even have two lists. What is with the two lists?
Well, and we keep catching them cold. Like, it doesn't seem like they went through the whole website. They just went to the two lists that we were talking about and made a new one. They didn't think we'd be looking at the top 50 money leaders of all time lists. I'll tell you that.
No, it's another wording. They hide it in another wording. You got to almost like search like.
They hide it in another.
Ryan Richardson's now a hacker. He's trying to find the right.
Dude, if you
PGA
type in
Tour
top
list.
50 career earnings PGA Tour, the first thing that comes up on Google is the PGA Tour website, career money earnings. Career earnings. That's the one. See? Yep.
He's not there.
There it is. There's a difference between career earnings and career money leaders. That makes no sense.
They're just trying to erase.
All right, so now who's 40? Oh, here we go now. Rory Sabatini's coming back to the PGA Tour.
Who did Rory Sabatini play for in the Olympics? You remember that?
Italy?
He played for like Denmark or something.
Is he not Italian?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't remember all the details.
Dude, he said who he played for, like Romania. Who the fuck did he play for?
David Toms.
It's really an interesting rule that I don't know why it exists, but I'm glad that it does. Like,
it's a very funny rule
Look
that,
at this
like,
guy.
is he wearing a hat in that
Slovakia he played for.
after,
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
Shout out to Vijay Singh, man.
good for
He's wearing a
Vijay
hat in that
Singh.
picture. Look at that hat he's wearing.
Good for Vijay Singh. At the end of the day, like, you get one life to live, and he's just sitting there being like, I'm still hitting the ball pretty well. I'm going to go play professional golf. I'm just going to choose to do that. I'm 62 years old. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to play like this. I'm just going to go back and play. That's going to piss a lot of people off. But those people are getting pissed off. Like, you're not 62 years old. You also didn't acquire 70-something million dollars in PGA Tour. When you get to that stage, if you ever do, you'll have that same, that same opportunity to go back and play the game that you love on the tour that you helped build. Like, this is like what America is. And like, some people don't like that, that like what he's been able to accomplish. Like, this is like this, you have to like thank Vijay Singh in some way. Like, the guy was number one golfer in the world at one point. Like, this guy deserves like a little bit of a retirement tour for a year to go back out there and play in the events. Like, the reason the tour is where it's at is because of guys like Vijay Singh. Screw anyone that's saying that he doesn't deserve this.
I don't know if those people exist. I think there'll be less blowback on this than like a Steph Curry or a Tony Romo. This is a guy who, like, you're saying,
people are all over Vijay Singh right now.
I saw some tweets, man. I saw some
because
tweets
you're taking away a spot.
Taking a card. They're taking a spot.
You're taking a card away from like a young buck.
Vijay Singh, man.
Like, Alistair has a harder chance now to make it on the PGA Tour than frickin' he did last year because of Vijay Singh. Long in the tooth Vijay Singh.
I'm also looking, this is interesting. I wasn't sure exactly how the lifetime membership thing works, but it says PGA Tour lifetime exemptions have two main types. Traditional lifetime membership is 20 wins plus 15 seasons on tour. Means you're exempt into most events, but not signature events. And special exemptions for exceptional achievements, most notably Tiger Woods' recent lifetime entry into all signature events for exceeding 80 wins, which is just the Tiger Woods rule that they made, which I love.
You get to 80 wins, you can play in whatever tournament you want. And I support that as well.
Well, they just awesome. Were like, who's the one guy we could think, what's the one rule that Tiger Woods has accomplished here that nobody else is going to get close to that's on tour currently? Okay, 80 wins.
You have 80 wins. 80. Your first name starts with an E, and like it's like there's all this criteria that's just like, it's just he can do whatever he wants, which I support.
All right, so Vijay Singh, you're going to be seeing him out there on tour. Anthony Kim, I want to get into Anthony Kim. Hell of a story. It was actually very fun to follow this entire weekend. So Anthony Kim, it's been since February 2024 is when Anthony Kim was announced that he was going to come out of retirement and play on the Live Golf Tour. If folks have been listening to the show for a few years, we talked about it extensively because Anthony Kim, now he's pretty public. He hates Brandel Chambly. He tweets about being, he's God-fearing and thanking God, and he's sober, and he's a little bit more out there. 2 years ago, he was a myth. He was mythological. He had played out there on tour. He was Bigfoot. He had the one story about him during the President's Cup being out partying until like 4 a.m, waking up, dominating Stuart Appleby in a President's Cup match. He was kind of known as like a party boy. He was a great talent. He was top 10 in the world. And then he kind of got injured. Reports were that he had a $10 million insurance policy on him getting injured, and he just took that policy and said, see you later, and disappeared. And people had no information on him. Live Golf was able to somehow extract him from this kind of self-imposed injury retirement, bring him out. He came out in his first event. He finished 16 over par. He was 33 strokes behind winner Joaquin Niemann in that event. He was relegated after 2 seasons out there. So last year, 2025, he did not play well enough. So he was relegated, and he would not have had really anywhere to play. So he went to Liv's version of Q School, which is Live Golf Promotions. I'm not exactly sure how deep the field was or how many people were in the field. I didn't really know any names. I was kind of scrolling through it briefly. But the point being, he went out there against a lot of people who were trying to get on Live, because if you get on Live and you have a decent year, you basically become rich. We talk about all the guaranteed contracts and stuff, but I mean, it's like $4 million if you win first place in any one of these events. You go out there, you have a good couple events on Live. All of a sudden, you go from somebody trying to get through Q School to like rich playing golf. Anyways, he goes to this. He's grinding to make like the weekend. Then he's grinding to stay in the top 5 or 10. And then he's grinding to stay in the top 3. And boy, did he do it. Anthony Kim bogeyed his final hole of the event to finish solo 3rd place. Only the top 3 people in the entire field got their live golf status for next year. And the most notable part of that entire thing is, if you really do look at it from Anthony Kim's standpoint, and a lot of folks have been, if you are one of the naysayers, commenting, negative, hater, whatever it might be, you're going, this guy didn't actually earn this. He just was this like enigma in the world of golf. Liv paid him a decent amount of money, came out for a couple of years, mailed it in, got a couple paychecks, see you later. Anthony Kim went out and actually this time just truly, genuinely earned it. He went out and just played good enough golf after that many years out of the spotlight. He has built his game back to a point. I'm not saying he's going to go out and win majors. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I'm not going to say he's going to go out and win or have an amazing season on Liv. But even proving this, going up against all kinds of talented people that want status on Liv and finishing in the top 3, kudos to Anthony Kim, because I thought that was fucking insanely impressive.
This is the part of the story that we've been missing. We talked all about this when it happened, and when he came back and he had disappeared for so long, like you mentioned, we said at the time, I'm pretty sure, that if you are watching a sports movie of this story, what happens now, Anthony Kim is on Liv, and he just becomes a sensation again. He's the same guy that he was before he left, and he's on leaderboards, he's competing, he's winning tournaments on Liv, and people are like, wow, think about all that we missed during those lost years in Las Vegas or wherever he was. And people are like, this is incredible. But the reality of the situation was when he came back, he was horrible. And that is the story that you don't want. No sports movie is like that, where it's just like the guy comes back, there's all this excitement, and then he's just terrible. And people are kind of sad about it. And it didn't live up to the expectation. It was almost better to have the mystery than it was to know what the actual reality of the situation was. Now that he's playing well, pick that sports movie back up. Now, if he starts playing really well, like that's the comeback that you want. I think it's great. He's just such an interesting character in the whole of golf. And Frankie and I saw him. I don't know if we ever talked about that. We saw him. We filmed the Breaking 85 at the Grand at Del Mar in San Diego a couple weeks ago. We went out for meetings with Adidas. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. And Anthony Kim happened to be there. He was with his kid. He was loving it. He was playing golf right behind us. And it was like, oh wow, that's Anthony Kim. And then to have this story come back around where he's playing well, like I'm on board with it. I would love an Anthony Kim redemption story.
He had a huge team with him, so he was obviously grinding. Yeah, his kid was out there. So it was cool to see him. And I don't want to be like insensitive or anything, but has he ever like addressed what happened with his nose? Like, is that like okay to ask? I mean, we constantly, like when Tiger Woods' tooth was out, it was like we did a whole show about it. Like if Trent Ryan showed up with like no glasses tomorrow because he got LASIK, we'd be like, he'd have to make a statement about it because that's just like what he looks like. I mean, that's like the number one thing everyone keeps like. It's just outrageous. I mean, I don't know if people jump to conclusions or whatever, but I don't
know if he's ever said. I don't know if he's ever said.
No,
I don't know. I'm really not sure either.
Well, it's just like Anthony Kim was like Anthony Kim, and then he came back onto Liv, and it's just like now that happened. It's like no comment at all. It's just like kind of wild to me. It's like this happened to my nose. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He was gone for a while, so it's like who knows what
you can do a lot in that. You can do a lot in 10 years. A lot of whatever you want to do.
A lot can happen. Was that what it was?
It's a talking point. It had to, it's a huge talking point. Like even in my and this made waves, man. Anthony Kim in some what are they calling it now? It's not Q School. What are they calling it?
Live Promotions
event. Like was in golf group chats. Like my buddies were talking about. Like look at Anthony Kim, and I'd be remiss to say that it wasn't also followed by like what the hell happened to this guy? Like what happened to him? Like
I can remember
that's Anthony Kim. Like holy smokes,
Anthony Kim is a needle mover. Like I remember when he was on the Ryder Cup, and I sat my brother and I remember talking to him. My brother, not a huge golf fan, not a golfer, just like is a sports fan, but never got into the golf thing. He was like, Anthony Kim is my guy. This is incredible what this guy is doing. He's got the big belt buckle. He's just like huge. he's fucking. Yeah, it was a huge belt buckle. He's just an interesting guy, and he still has that pull all these years later if he plays well.
Dude, he had he would come out too. Remember, they would ask like Tiger Woods, how do you go through your routine on like shot shaping the ball for the day? And he'd kind of be like, well, I'm going to open the face here, close the face here. And then I remember Anthony Kim was like, yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to hit it till I get to the range that day. If I'm cutting the ball, I'm going to cut the ball. If I'm drawing the ball, I'm just going to draw the ball. So he had like answers about that or like that all the time that he was always an insanely interesting cat. You know, I think like the I don't think I've ever seen any of that addressed directly by Anthony Kim, Frankie, but I will say that I think that like my general take is just that guy lived hard for a while and that, you know, that led to why like sober is dope and like he's got this whole new look on life and he's obsessed with his family and his daughter and how thankful he is for this new opportunity. That all comes off like, you know, rhetoric to me from a guy who just lived pretty fucking hard for a while and is glad that he like made it through it and is now in this like second phase of his life. So I don't know if that answers anything, but that's sort of just my general.
Or join like a men's hockey league and turn into biz.
Or, you know, same thing happened to Artie Lang.
True. That is very true.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, no, it's just it's really cool. I mean, I want more from him. I want like that story. I want to know more about him. He's back. He's got a great story to tell. Hopefully one day we get like the full tell all. I mean, obviously he doesn't owe that to anybody, but like he's got such a unique story in this game of golf. Golf is so vanilla a lot of the times. We talk about that all the time. You need characters, and this life that this guy has lived is anything but that. It's 15 different flavors coming out of that ice cream tin. You know what I mean? Like it is just not vanilla ice cream. So I want ice cream right now. I keep talking about that.
Ice cream's so good, man. Ice cream's
so good, dude.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Really, really good.
What flavor are you thinking about?
Oh man, instantly.
Yeah.
Well, there's this place right by our house. This place, Coils. I gotta give a shout. It's like it's homemade ice cream, and we got this birthday cake for my wife on Christmas Eve, and it was called like the banana. It's called like the banana split like explosion or something like that. I'm making that up, but it was banana something.
Bonanza.
Dude, it had like 10. It was ice cream. It was ice cream. It had like 10 different flavors of ice cream within this, and in between each layer was bananas, and then chocolate fudge, homemade chocolate fudge. When you got to the fudge, it was like Willy Wonka style coming out of the river. Like it was. And dude, like we got so much of it that we had so much left over, and we were just eating it out of the little to-go tins that we got. Like you know, after a party, you give some. And I saw Hannah giving out cake to people to take home, like not the banana, keep that. And we've been feasting on that for weeks.
We got to move on. I'm gonna take my shirt off. You know what I mean? We got to move on to the next topic. I think.
That fudge, man. God.
Mintzy. So I got to give a shout out to, you know, the Mintzy situation.
Incredible.
Mintzy was at my house a couple days ago. You know, I know it's been broken down quite a bit. I've heard the Chicklets guys weighing in on it. Obviously, stayed with Biz for a while. I saw Dave was on Wake Up Barstool this morning talking about it quite a bit. Brandon Walker was on there talking about it quite a bit. I still, at this juncture, don't fully know how to explain Mintzy or what I think about Mintzy. I'll say, you know, the guy's just got the juice, and I don't know what it is. I don't know how it is. I can't tell you. We could put out a video with Tiger Woods. I don't know that I get as many text messages as I got about Ben Mintz coming to my house. I can't go. You know, I walk out of my building, and like the front desk and the neighbors are like, I saw about this guy that you've got staying in your place. You go to get a haircut in town, you go over to Sport Clips, and they're just like, you still got that roommate? And I'm like, what? Oh, Mintzy. It's like Mintzy. Everybody wants to know about the entire situation. So I will say, you know, I do get a lot of like, you know, is Mintzy an idiot or a genius? And I will say definitively, I do not see and have not seen, even in person, a single sign of intelligent life anywhere within Mintzy, which almost makes the whole thing more amazing. You know, it's just he's unlike anyone I've ever met. He's kind of go. He's a disaster walking around. Just the way that he lays on my couch was a disaster. I had to get cleaning service to come in and just kind of get rid of Mintzy being on the couch when he left. And I wish I would have done a better job of documenting this. But, you know, you go stay at someone's home and they give you a guest bedroom or something, and you make sure when you leave that bedroom is cleaner than you found it. You are making the bed. You are putting the pillows in perfect spot, patting them down so there's no creases in it. You know, you're making sure. I mean, My couch was a fucking disaster when Mintzy left. My blankets were like sprawled all over the place. The pillows had like buttons missing from them and were just everywhere. He had, I'd gifted him a pair of shoes and he didn't even consider disregarding like the box or trash that comes out of the shoe. It just was like when he left, it was like a hurricane came through here and he kind of just expects you to clean it up. He's on to the next thing. So, having said all that, I think I saw the numbers that Ohio State put out from the entire thing, and they just blew me away. And I got to give him, I know he's had his history with Dave, and we're usually pretty team Dave Portnoy on this whole thing, but even Dave was giving him his kudos. He reminded me of like a young Frankie Borelli being Dave's guy, just the way that he was documenting everything. I was like, hey, I got this idea. I want to do this video. He's like, no problem. Do you mind if I put that up in 45 minutes? I've got another video going out now, and then I'm going to try to get Mintzy to, he was directing the entire operation in such a good way. So that combo and the two of them and the very brief stay that I had with them coming in, it was weird. It was like, we got like, haboobs out here and stuff, which are just these crazy desert storms that strike out of nowhere and then they're gone. And you look around and you're like, oh my God, what happened? All of a sudden, everything's like soaking wet. The wind blew so hard, the dust all over my car, and I didn't even really see what happened. That's kind of how it felt with Mintzy and Tate. But a hell of a performance by those guys, I must say, over the entire week.
Yeah, man, Tate did a great job. The thing that's endlessly funny to me that I've been thinking about is that this is Mintz all the time, right? Yeah. Every trip he goes on, every time he talks about going to a Widespread Panic concert, every time he's going, he's traversing the country doing these different things. This just happens to be the first time where Big Cat was like, Ohio State, you got to stay on this guy and film this whole thing and show us. It's just so funny to me that he's been doing this for years. And who knows like what couches he's slept on, what trash he's left, piss on the floor at Biz's. Like who knows what has gone on. And we just got a glimpse into what that tornado was like. And I just kept thinking about that and how funny it is. Like they could keep doing this. Like I feel like part of the worry with this sometimes is you start to get self-awareness from Ben Mintz where he's like, oh, let's do this. I know it'll like, this will move the needle. I don't think you're going to get a ton of that. Tate kept showing the content ideas that Mintzy would come up with. And they were subpar to what would actually just happen in the wake of Mintzy. So I think you could probably do this, and I don't want to put this on Ohio State, but you could do this all the time, and you would probably have the exact effect that it had this last weekend. It was fucking incredible.
Yeah, he's a disaster. It's really the only way to put it. Like, this guy has ruined people's houses. Yep. He's so inconsiderate of everything. But then he's like this happy, jolly, he's just this ball and burst of energy that you just want to have around because you're like, that's just Mintzy, right? Like, you can't get mad at him. It's like a dog that like gets into the trash can and just like starts like you go in the kitchen, or it's like a little kid that like they drew crayons all over the walls. Like, of course you're losing your mind that they did that, but they don't know any better. Like Ben Mintz doesn't know any better. He's rummaging through things, leaving it on the floor and moving on to the next. He's like Sebastian Maniscalco, whenever like his like form of comedy is to always just like talk about all these people who walk around the city and they go just like the way that he does that. That's kind of Mintzy. He's just like his brain's like just got this high pitch. He's like and just everything just kind of, he doesn't know. He's a Tasmanian devil, man. He doesn't know what's up and what's down. He doesn't know what's right and what's wrong. And you honestly can't pin it on him for not knowing that. That's just who he is. We're all born differently. Like Mintzy just happens to be Mintzy. He's gonna move 1,000 miles an hour, and he's gonna leave an absolute disaster behind him. And that's just that's what you get.
I think Nick Trani said on the Yak that if you just picture Ben Mintz, when you think about Ben Mintz and you're watching a video, just picture him with a huge lollipop. Just picture him holding a huge lollipop like a kid, like you're saying. Like if you can view it through that lens, that is the right way to do it, and it's the correct way to do it.
Oh shit,
that's perfect. God damn.
Woo! That was fucking funny, dude.
It's true. He's right. Nick is right.
Oh man, and then you had Quigs doing that, like that whole, all the AI versions of him, and like those went viral. They're so believable. Oh, God.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
it was great weekend of content. I mean, we said going into that weekend, we're like 5 days of football going in. We're like, this is gonna be an all-time weekend. had no idea what was coming with the Ohio's Tate and the Ben Mintz story. So good on Riggs for being a part of that, because that was funny as hell.
Riggs had an incredible performance, and Riggs touched on it originally, where he was like, if someone asked me about Ben Mintz, I don't know how to explain him. Like, then that is true. I also just you're like no other company, or like we're a content company and there's other content companies, I suppose, but like to explain the saga on paper to somebody, they'd be like, well, no, I'm not going to pay attention to that. And then it's Barstool, and it's the most talked about thing. It's the biggest thing from the weekend. It's I guess at the end of the day, I just love this company. That whole saga can exist makes me love this company so much.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly stated. And yeah, I don't like when Mintzy like walks out of my place and he's in an Uber for 30 minutes to Biz's house. I have no idea if his thought process while he's sitting there reflecting for a half hour is like, ha, I got one by Riggs. He just completely manipulated him. Or if he's just like sitting there with the lollipop and is like, wow, what a great experience. I'm so lucky. I don't have any idea what's going on through his brain. And I don't know that he does either, but it works, man. He's must follow every single thing that he does when he's on those trips and in that headspace. God damn, it's phenomenal. So we survived it. The place got through it. Nobody got permanently injured or anything. So that was I think a huge success. This episode is brought to you by Kraken, the official crypto platform of Barstool Sports and the only platform we trust not to slice one out of bounds when things get hectic. It's 2026, new year, fresh start. Maybe your swing still needs work, but your crypto game, time to tighten that up. Kraken is the real deal. Over 13 million people use it because it's secure, it's reliable, and it doesn't crash when the market gets fast. Kraken and Crypto Trent, they've been fantastic with us.
Yeah, man, they've been great. Crypto it's all the rage right now. It seems like it's the future. So I would get in on that. You don't want to be left behind when everybody else has it and you don't. Kraken's a great platform that gets you on there. Everything's clear and concise. You know what you're doing. You know what's moving where. Kraken, they've been great. We love them.
And Kraken's giving you $25 in free Bitcoin. Just head to kraken.com/barstool. Use the code barstool25 and boom, $25 in BTC right in your account. No mulligans needed. New year, new trades. Don't shank this one again. That is code Barstool25. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. It is offered to U.S. customers, excluding New York and Maine, through Payward Interactive Incorporated. All right, gentlemen. I think the only thing I really truly have left here is I'm gonna save the rule changes for next show. We've gone through quite a bit on this one. We got Scottie Scheffler, and I think that'll be a really nice, thorough discussion. Plus, I want to understand them better. I think golf.com did a great job. Actually, I was kind of going through it, but 6 new rule changes, whatever. We'll talk about those on Thursday's show. We got to talk about the past weekend just in sports overall. I think that you get weekends that I can recall, especially like wild card weekends, where the games can kind of suck overall. You even get it. There was one round, I think, of the college football playoff, maybe the beginning of it, where like each game kind of sucked. Boy, has the last week been as good as it gets for football, from the college games really delivering to the Bears-Packers game. And I know Ryan Richardson's on the wrong side of that one, which we can hear from you on. But kudos to NFL's king in this country, and it really proved why and delivered over the last couple days. I don't watch a ton of football, but it's hard not to when it's the entire weekend and it's playoffs and all that. It was just as good as sports get on almost every game throughout the entire weekend.
Ryan, Richard, I'll ask it to you like this. What do you think went wrong with the Green Bay Packers?
I think that the first 3 drives of the third quarter is where they lost the game. 3 straight 3-and-outs. They didn't move the ball at all. They didn't have to score points. They just needed to bleed little clock, put some pressure on the Bears, so they didn't have the whole opportunity to have the whole second half to make up 18 points. That's where I think it went wrong. But at the same time, this is what they've done all year. They've gotten up big and they've blown leads, and I think it's an indictment on Matt LaFleur. I'm a LaFleur guy, but it's hard to deny at this point. They have a real issue blowing leads and a real issue putting teams away. So I think that's what went wrong.
They
Simple.
also went up against the team that has been doing this all year, where they're down and then they'll just come all the way back and win. Like, it's at no point I feel like, and my dad's a Packer fan too, I was texting about it. At no point did he feel great about the game, even when it was 21-3 or like 21-6, and we were already into the second half. The Bears have just been pulling off these type of wins all season, and the fact that they did it again in a playoff game was surprising, but also not.
Yeah, so I will say no disrespect to the Bears because you said they've been doing it all year, but I felt that same feeling, but more so from a Packers perspective where I was like, I just don't trust us to
Sure.
put this away. And I said to my friend before the game, I just hope we don't get up X amount of touchdowns and it slowly dwindles because that's just what they've done all year. And it happened again. So I was really frustrated Saturday night, but you wake up Sunday and you have that clarity where you just think, yeah, well, that's kind of who they were, so how mad can I really be? It sucks it happened to the Bears, but they weren't going anywhere without Parsons or Kraft, just regroup for next year, but yeah, it sucked. It was terrible. In the moment, I'm not gonna lie, it was horrible. And one of my best friends is a Bears fan, so now he's got that up on me for the next year, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's always losing to a rival is the worst. I mean, at the end of the day, they blew it, and sometimes you think back, you're like, I'd rather just get blown out than have that lead and that excitement. Like you're up 21-3, things are going great. You're in there building, quieting their crowd. It's just there's something about that that's so just you feel like you're on top of the world, and then it just slowly happens. Football is insane that you got to play. I mean, Caleb Williams, as much as people like to rag on him, like he is really, really well spoken during his post game press conferences, and when he's talking immediately after the game, he was talking to the sideline reporter, and his little speech that he gave where he's like, this game is 60 minutes long, like we played to the last second, we do it for the city, we do it for ourselves, it was an incredible kind of little speech that got me going for the Bears fans. But yeah, just brutal loss to the Packers. Hate to see that happen. I was on the Bears in the DraftKings Sportsbook, so it was a nice comeback. I even bet them when they were down 21-6, which was just a great spot to be in. You just felt it, man. There was something about it. I don't know if it's because we have so many Bears fans that we follow on Twitter, whether it be like the Chicago guys or whatever, but like you just felt like something was going to happen. Like you were seeing all the updates from the crowd with Eddie and Big Cat, and you're like, there's a moment that's going to happen here. There's no way they went to this game and nothing's going to happen. Like it's not like they're not going to see a touchdown. And then all of a sudden it started to happen, and it really was like a storybook ending. So incredible.
I'll say, dude, just as a general sports fan too, tuning into a Soldier Field game where everybody's in like old school puffy coats, they've got winter hats on, there's snow on the field, there were flurries coming down late in the game. It like gave me the chills for just having that kind of an epic feel for such a big game between two, storied rivals. It was fucking awesome to tune into.
So funny, in my group chat, I had one of our friends, Brian, like he was just on an ice cold streak betting, right? Just like couldn't find a winner. And to the point where he's just talking to himself in the group chat about it. And someone, I think Big Rob was like, all it takes is one. And we all rallied around his first pick, and it was the Bears. And we went nuts. And then yesterday we all rallied around him, and it was and he was against, like he didn't. Who did he pick yesterday? Oh no. Who did the Eagles lose to? Why am I like
the Niners?
He was on the Niners money line. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way you're going to have these two upsets. Bang, he went Niners, and we went crazy. And then last night, he sent in the Chargers, and we're like, no way. We hate this pick. Despise it. So, like, we were hot. We were real hot. And we're like, we're going to give Brian one last one. When you're hot, you're hot. Sent in the Chargers. We were sending in bolts emojis and everything the whole day. Like, when he sent that's the thing about sport is like when you're with a group and you're all kind of going together on bets and someone says one that you hate, you just got to jump in on it because like that's like what the group is doing. But I hated the bet the whole day. I'm like, there's no way the Patriots are going to lose this fucking game. Drake May, no way. At home, no chance. Vrabel, like he's the best coach in the league right now. He's smacking people's heads with his freaking nose and breaking his lip. Just like he's just a football guy. He's not losing a freaking home playoff game. There's no chance.
Great weekend of football. Great.
Did you take my Christian Watson advice, or because he did score a touchdown?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't because you sent that other guy. Who the hell was that? I asked you for
Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah,
he's the backup running back.
I asked you for that flyer. I threw a little money on him, but no, I didn't go with the Watson. He ended up scoring 2, didn't he?
No, he scored 1. He kind of dropped, or he didn't drop it. He dove in the end zone and he fumbled and it went to the 1 yard line.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it was
yeah,
almost
yeah.
a touchdown. But yeah, no, I gave you Emmanuel Wilson because Josh Jacobs has been kind of banged up and he had a good game against the Bears last time. But yeah, he didn't get a lot of run this game.
Incredible football, just really good. And Ole Miss game, obviously incredible. Just from beginning to end, just really, really good football. Really good hockey too. Islanders are on an unbelievable heater. Rangers lost 10-2. I saw Lurch was at the game. Lurch posted a video, like a picture from center ice at the Bruins game, and he's like, "Play like a New Yorker." And I just wrote back, "Pathetic fucking hockey team." Like they got 10 goals put up on them. That's a 2-score football game. That's
10 goals. I'm not a hockey guy, but you don't see 10.
2 hat tricks, and then a third guy was going for a third hat trick. There was gonna be no more hats in the building. 2 hat tricks, and the third guy had 2 of them.
2 hat tricks. God,
2.5 hat tricks. 2 and 2/3.
2 and 2/3.
Dude, I was like, he just wrote back, "I couldn't be worse." Like, I fucking love that. Lurch on us, and it was I was gonna get real graphic with him, being like, "You thought this was gonna be the best sports day ever? Like 1:00, Bruins Rangers, then you're gonna go home and you're gonna watch the 4:00 football game, the 8:00 football game. Like, you had this whole day planned out, big seats with the Axon guys, center ice. You got a 10 spot put up on you. Absolutely embarrassing. You barely fit in the seats. Like, there's something about this day that like just really got me going."
Lurch hasn't been on the show in a long time. Obviously, he just hasn't been, and I think maybe we let him on every time the Rangers get a 10 spot put up on. If the next time that happens, you just every time that's something people can root for. Like if the Rangers give up 10 goals, he's on.
What's crazy, the Islanders put up 9 like 2 nights before that. There's been a lot of high scoring in the NHL recently. Wow. So the Devils, Frank the Tank's dying with the Devils. He can't believe how bad they are. Dude, the Devils lost 9-0 to the Islanders, then lost the next game to the Penguins, and then they went out and played the Vancouver Canucks, who were on an 11-game losing streak, and the Devils lost to them. Frank the Tank, his chew toy is like it's brittle at this point. It's got nothing left. He's losing his mind.
Dude,
how about Frank the Tank with Arnold Schwarzenegger though? We didn't even give him a shout on that.
Oh, it's
so
great.
That's one of the crazy. Dude, Barstool's on an outrageous heater. You want to talk about depth scoring? Like a lot of teams, they talk about depth scoring in hockey. You got like Suzuki scoring a goal the other night for the Islanders. Like the Barstool has so much depth right now where we're making these outrageous waves. Like Frank the Tank is going viral with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mintzy's going viral at the Ole Miss game. Like a lot, you got the names like Big Cat and Dave Portnoy, and obviously they're always going to be at the top. But you got these depth scorers right now that are really like moving the needle. Like Frank the Tank and Jenks getting Arnold Schwarzenegger to buy into Frank the Tank's health and his grind right now it's the most beautiful and emotional and empowering and just like so motivating. It's the most motivating thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Frank the Tank's lifting weights every day now. He had like 100 fever. He still walked 10,000 steps. The guy is outrageous. He's lost 200 pounds, 300.
I mean, how more? 250?
250 pounds
shit, man.
by
That's
walking?
Awesome.
Like that.
It's so
and
cool.
I watched Jenks on Large's show talk about just like his life and how meaningful Frank has been to him, and like how they're both basically like family members at this point, and how they have a relationship that like we can't even comprehend, and that like totally makes sense at this point. Because to be able to motivate someone to change their life like that, you have to be able to connect with them on a level that's not like coworker stuff. That is like, I'm gonna change your life today. I'm going to be here every day, and we're going to walk 20,000 steps until you lose 250 pounds. Oh my God. That story is not being talked about enough.
It's crazy.
One of the best things we got going. But his Devils suck. You know what I mean? Like they're as high as Frank's going to go, his sport teams are always going to bring him down.
Fuck.
I know. That
Dolphins.
is awesome, dude. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Fuck, what a name. What a name.
And I love that. I read every one of his tweets in his accent. So he's like, "There you go, Frankie." Like the way he calls him Frankie is incredible. You've got this, Frankie.
All right, everybody.
Riggs, I want to bring up one last thing.
Yeah,
dude, I read this book, this 1776 book.
Look at this guy,
dude.
Already?
I mean, you were. I mean, it's a little long, but you were talking it up on the last show. I read it. Fucking incredible. If there's people out there who want to get into the American Revolution, which I think you should, we talked a lot on the last show about George Washington and all those guys. Read that fucking book because it's incredible.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm so glad you read that. I need to reread it because I actually gifted somebody that book like a year ago, and then I was like hounding them to get through it, and they had the same review. They're like, dude, I read it in like 2 days. It was so good. I didn't know all of this stuff. Dude, my biggest takeaway when I read that is the immediate connection you have to these main characters, and you learn that they're just people and real people like we are real people.
Correct.
Also, the book is 1776 for anyone listening on the audio podcast.
Yep. Sorry.
1776 by David McCullough. It starts in summer of 1775 and follows George Washington basically day by day until January 1777. And it goes through the siege of Boston, the battles in New York. Like, it goes through all of it from the letters that they write to their loved ones and that George Washington was writing to like John Adams and John Hancock. They piece it all together and they basically give you a day by day look at what it was like on the front lines.
Amazing.
Yes.
I gotta read this freaking book. We got so much travel coming up. I'll be on a lot of flights. I should just read this book.
Dude, there's a part, and everybody should read it. There's a part. They're in New York. This is July of 1776. So very important.
This is not
date.
a spoiler, by the way. This happened like 250 years ago.
Yeah, not a spoiler. It's July of 1776. The Continental Army is in New York. They're stationed in New York, and morale's pretty good. The siege of Boston was a success. Then they moved down to New York. Everything was good. July of 1776. Whispers of the Declaration of Independence start to make their way to New York. And I think it's John Adams that sends the Declaration of Independence to George Washington and is like, hey, this is what's going on. Because when you're reading it, you realize also independence and the word independence wasn't really in the vernacular of the Continental Army. They were just fighting the British, and they were like, I don't know, we just don't want them to tax us with the Stamp Act and the tea and all that. So the idea of independence where they're like, we're going to be our own nation now is the plan. So George Washington gets this letter from John Adams. George Washington to the people of New York who aren't loyalists, who are down with the American cause, learn of the Declaration of Independence. They take to the streets, and in front of George Washington's headquarters where he was in New York, there is a statue of King George III right in front of his headquarters. Because at the time, there's still a lot of people who are like, we're down with the British. This is fine to have this statue here. Now that the Declaration of Independence happens, they take to the streets, they tear that statue down, and they're like, we are going to turn this statue, we're going to melt it down, and we're going to turn it into bullets. And I was in my living room, like, I'm going to start crying, I think. I think I'm going to start crying while reading this book. It is amazing. I really can't recommend it enough.
That's amazing. Wow. That
Frankie,
kills.
You'll love the New York part of it too. Just like I was kind of describing all of the like Boston geography, and when they go through it, if you've lived in Boston or spent any time in Boston, how like really visceral it is because you could just like, where those places are.
Yeah,
You've
totally.
like taken a cab or an Uber to those places. You're like, that's just where the army was against the British. What are you talking about? It's the same thing in New York. And they talk about when they're in like Brooklyn versus when they're in New York and like Wall Street, and like they're like talking about the streets, and you're just like, what are you talking about? That was 250 years ago.
Dude, one of the main battles in New York is called the Battle of Long Island. And it's about how the British went into Long Island and were like using that as a place to start fucking up the Americans. I that's the part I was surprised by as well. As a guy who, I've been to Boston a lot now and I love Boston, as a guy who lives in New York, like just knowing these places that they're mentioning and knowing that 250 years ago was like part of the most important battle, one of the most important battles in American history. Very cool. Had me looking up maps. I was Googling like, what did the maps look like in 1775? Like, I got to see these battle positions. Amazing. Really,
Awesome.
really incredible.
I love it.
That's probably my favorite book I've ever read, man. Definitely nonfiction. So yeah, I'm glad you got through it, Trent. That's great.
I don't know if I said this on the last show. I was watching the show. Did I bring up that 11/22/63 show? The Dave Franco show that just went on Netflix. It's a 2016 show, and it's a sci-fi show about Dave Franco goes back in time and has to stop the assassination of JFK.
I remember this.
And it's on Netflix now, so it's super bingeable. It's one season. Really, really good stuff. It's like kind of weird in the beginning. It's very almost like low budget the way that like it starts, and he's in this diner and like, I don't know, it's weird. But once you get into where he's back in time and he has to stay back in the 1960s for 3 years and like kind of blend in because like the time portal brings him to 1960. Really great show. He has to wait until 1963 and he has to commit to wanting to figure this out. Because if you think about it, like for all you know about the assassination of JFK, you have all these assumptions that it's Lee Harvey Oswald, and like that where he did it and all these things. But there's so many conspiracy theories out there that you don't, even if you got dropped into that moment in time, you wouldn't know where necessarily to look or like what the motive was. Like you're not actually finding out anything, right? Like you know what happened, and you could have all these books with you, but like you need to actually try and figure out on your own, even with all the information out there, exactly what happened. So I thought it was a really unique and incredible show, and I thought Dave Franco crushed it. James Franco. Dave Franco's his
brother. Dave is also an actor.
Yeah, James Franco. Franco was phenomenal stuff. I thought it was a great show. I watched the whole thing in one day. It was awesome.
I just saw that teaser actually for it on Netflix. I want to watch that, so I'm going to check that one out.
Really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to check that one out.
And they make Lee Harvey Oswald look like Brock Purdy.
It is dope.
I don't know if that's what he actually looked like, but he looks like Brock Purdy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, history's dope. That was my other takeaway. I was like, there's so much I don't know about even the history of my own country.
Just thousands and thousands of years of history, man. History's cool as shit. God, history's cool. From the teaser, they do for the JFK go back in 60s one. They were doing like the teaser was like them walking through Dooley Plaza, and like that was the first time I had really seen the perspective ever of where the book depository and the road and the grassy knoll all was, because they were doing the camera angle as he's walking through and pointing. That was the first time I'd all seen it. Almost like we've talked about when you go to a famous golf course for the first time, like the Masters, and you kind of see where like the first tee and the ninth tee and how they're close to, or the ninth green and how close they are to each other. You didn't really realize that. That was the first time I had ever seen sort of that angle of not just pictures of the whole thing. I thought that was cool as shit. That like brought me to the moment when it was just the two of them walking through there. It was really cool.
It's a great show, and it's also it's super sci-fi, where it's like when you try and go in the past like fights back. The past doesn't want to be changed, so it's like it's almost like being in a dream. Like things like a light falls, and like it's like you can never get to the thing. It's really cool. It's a really cool show. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend people to watch it. Oh, by the way, what we didn't put in, because we came back and recorded this part, I wanted to get this in the show, and I forgot. I was sitting downstairs pissed off. John Cooper sent a text message to Riggs and me, and it was just the gif of Michael Keaton standing up in front of the bat symbol. Just the best guy in sports right now. The fact that he listened to the pod, heard that Trent said he looks like Michael Keaton, and then sends that text, he's just got it, man. Then he also, just to tie it all together, he FaceTimed Danny Boy Kane. Did you see that?
Yeah.
At Biz's house during the whole Mintzy thing. He just FaceTimed him because I guess because Danny Boy is a huge Lightning fan, and Biz is like, I got a head coach for you right here. And that interaction was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like Cooper's face was like, what's going on, Danny? He's just like, in the midst of all that chaos. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, he's the man. Good call. I forgot about that. That was a very funny text. All right, everyone. I think we're done here. We will, of course, as always, be back on Thursday. Huge thanks to Scottie Scheffler for his time and Taylormade setting that entire thing up. Make sure you go check out the new Qi4D. It's fantastic. Just give it a look on their website. They've got all kinds of cool information about it. And enjoy the week. Might get some big golf news. So we'll be ready for that if it comes. Otherwise, we'll see you Thursday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.